These are cleaned, ready to read. I kind of want to move to just call him Jacob. Because I'm going to call him, what was like, it's like Chocobo. It'd be Jacopo. Jacopo? I can call him Jacopo, right? Jack? We can call him, I don't mind Jack. What's going on, Doc? How are you doing, buddy? Jack? Although Jacopo's not that hard to say. And even if they do connect the tracks, will it really be in any shape for people to ride? It's a pipe dream, this transcontinental railroad of yours. Jack went silent. I'm certain this is what was going through his head. You're a bunch of damned imbeciles if you can't see that the entire country's put their weight behind this endeavor. This is why you have so much trouble making even a few thousand. At the time, a great railway was being built across the breadth of the continent. Construction was spearheaded by two large rail companies, in competition for both prestige and a bigger share of this massive national enterprise. The Union Pacific Railroad Company started building from the east, and the Central Pacific Railroad Company from the west. But government bonds alone were not enough to finance the massive undertaking. By the way, there have been some less than pleasant reports about workers dying on the job for the company you chose, Central Pacific. Ah, you mean how they're using explosives to blast through the mountains? Making quite a bang they are. But if this gets to be much bigger of a fix, you're not going to be able to continue construction. You should at least put your money in the more sure bet of the two, the Union Pacific. It'll cost you to hire replacement workers, and then if they keep kicking the bucket, you're gonna have trouble finding more. It's so little whipped cream. It's still hot cocoa though. Cheers. My goodness. Oh. And here I thought you all had spines. You think we're gonna run out of workers just because a few ate it? There's so many we don't even know what to do with all of them. There's not a chance that well will dry up. And if by some chance it does, all we have to do is scoop up a shipful of blacks or yellows. Oh god. You won't get anywhere if you spend your time worrying about a few measly laborers. This is an endeavor backed by the entire nation. Their deaths are honorable in service of their country. I'm just reading it, okay? The biggest loss is not of people's lives, but of time. The longer a project takes, the more money it costs, and the less profit we make. What we seek is rapid progress, even if the methods to obtain it are messy or deadly. The other man in the room chuckled uncomfortably at Jack's distasteful choice of words. Do you agree with his way of thinking, Master? Perhaps he does have a point, and that great sacrifice is necessary to accomplish great things. And it is true that tragedy often lies in the shadows of the splendor of times long past. Furthermore, the way people see the world changes with the time, so I hesitate to criticize him too severely. Now, as I am sure you have already picked up on, he was an investor who had put money into a railroad company. He also possessed several crude oil refineries, riding on the world's second wave of industrial development. Mansion 2 bustled with life in a way it never had before. Dozens of maids, including me, gardeners, chefs, sculptors, artists. At a time, we even had writers coming in and out of the house. There was rarely a moment of silence. Did I say hi to you, Ghost? Sometimes the colors get messed up, but if I didn't, hello, Ghost. However, I was not terribly fond of the hustle and bustle personally. But please do not get me wrong. I am hardly opposed to the mansion being cheerful. It was just, how should I put it? The splendor of the time seemed superficial, heartless. It was as though everyone was being rushed along by some unknown, invisible force. Part of it was, I expect, caused by the growing divide between those standing at the top and sitting at the bottom. Or perhaps the mansion was simply taking after its master. There's no time to waste. Everything is resting upon the success of this project. Whatever it takes, I will ensure it happens. I need more money and more power. Oh god, he's Goku. Suddenly, a restrained knock on the door stopped his train of thought. From beyond the door came a woman's voice, gentle as a soft spring breeze. Pardon me, I have made some tea. May I offer anyone a cup? When the door opened, in it stood a beautiful woman with pure white hair. I know this one. It was indeed her. It was actually found in Ildan's game that he was playing Evil Within. Are you surprised? Or did you anticipate her appearance? Well, she was not the same age and dressed differently. The white-haired girl whom you saw fall into the hands of misfortune in the era of roses and of the era of beast was also present in this era of innovation. Furthermore, she was Jack's wife. What? I don't recall asking for that. When were you asked to make it? Oh, he's not nice either. I wasn't, but I had these leaves in the most wonderful aroma, and I thought you might enjoy. Shut your trap and know your place. What do you think we have all these maids for? Hey now, don't need to treat your lady like that. This is trying to be courteous. These are my personal affairs. Please keep your comments to yourself. His friends were unsure how to react, but ultimately nobody stepped up to stop Jack. They merely shrugged, tossing glances at one another. Oh god, it's handsome Jack! Jack stomped over to the white-haired girl, then grabbed her by the arm and dragged her from the den. Which I did recently complete Tales from the Borderlands? Or Tales of the Borderlands? the Telltale game from Borderlands. It was actually pretty fun, surprisingly so. What the hell do you think you're doing? I've told you time and again to stay away from the room unless absolutely necessary. I know we're gonna sick the beast. And what's the other? Mel? Or was it? No, Nell. Nelly. We're sick Nelly on him. We're gonna scalp him. I'm sorry. But I made tea and shut up about the tea already. Damn it, Shira. Check the rocket. You think we're having tea parties and they're like a bunch of prissy nobles? I'm sorry. If you really feel so bad, don't go in there in the first place. That's because you were her, Em. Get the hell back to your room. I meant no harm. It's just, I'm your wife. I thought it would be nice if I could do something. Like I've told you, that's not your job. Don't show yourself in front of the other men. I have nothing else to say to you. Got it? Now scram. Okay, well, I mean, if they're trying to make us not like him, it worked in like the first 3 minutes. Takes a lot. First them, now you. It's driving me up the wall. What is it? I told you to get out of here. Right, but, what? I remember it's like one of my mom's favorite things when she picked up from a bunch of writing seminars. And they use Stephen King as a good example as an author who, instead of just telling you, like, you know, Jack here is a very bad, bad man, they instead have Jack walk into the room and kick a dog. And then don't mention anything about it because you automatically are going to hate that person. Show it instead of saying it, you know? When will you spend time with me next? It has been some time since we last went out together. But we don't have to go out. Just having dinner together would. How many times are you going to make me repeat myself, you worthless tramp? Are those ears only for show? Aw. Go back to your goddamn room. I don't like being a mean reader. My apologies. Looking utterly downtrodden, the white-haired girl made her departure. No, Diabetes, we are not on Team Jack right now. Such a piteous sight she was. As he watched her go, Jack merely snorted. Thinking about the way he behaved then angers me. I have little fondness for men who do not treat their spouses with respect. As you can see, the white-haired girl was in hardly a joyous situation. And then I was wondering, like, how could the maid dislike this person more than the beast who was literally slaughtering villages around him? Yes, I can kind of see it. He was devoted to Jack and tried to do whatever she could for him, But he not only brushed her aside, he did so in an insulting, deliberately hurtful manner. They were far from picturesque partners. Do you wonder, then, Master, why she married him? The answer to that question will come to light in time. We have to do something with the mansion. Oh, I got my saber shirt on just for you. For now, let's follow her. Yeah, I'm not gonna say he's my top 5 favorite characters in this game so far.
Kill all the bunnies. Bunny death.
Looking down dejectedly at the undrunken tea, the white-haired girl walked alone down the corridor. Though its calming scent filled the air, there was nobody around to have their heart warmed by it, nor was there anyone to alleviate her loneliness. Oh, despite being the master's wife, the maids who crossed her path in the hall said nary a word to her. As a matter of fact... Oh dear, I beg your pardon, madam. It's fine. One even bumped into her, stifling a laugh as she trotted off. In all likelihood, she had done it intentionally. The poor white-haired girl, who had fallen to the floor, stared helplessly at the broken cups. The tea she had made for her husband was forming a stain in the carpet. The maid's behavior towards the mistress of the house was absolutely unacceptable. Nonetheless, it was commonplace, all because of the way Jack treated her. The more the man of the house acted cruel to her, the less weight her position as wife held to the servants. Day in and day out, the maids worked busily, offered little opportunity for leisure, so they would naturally have accumulated quite a bit of stress. Yeah, again, they kind of get you with the big twists, so now I'm trying not to think ahead of time, but we'll see, because they are definitely tilting this story towards disliking Jack ass. And she became the target for them to let off this steam. Not directly, but through a more subdued kind of harassment from the shadows. Must have felt quite miserable. I imagine she would have been better off as one of the maids. On the surface and in front of others, they showed respect for her as Jack's bride. But behind closed doors, they acted very much the opposite. The disparity between the treatment she received around others and the treatment she was supposed to receive at all times. And the way she was actually treated made the abuse that much worse. And furthermore, as you've seen through the other doors, Master, she was a very reserved young woman. She could neither raise her voice in reprimand nor raise her hand in retaliation. I have to get this cleaned up. She extended her spindly fingers towards the shards of shattered porcelain. But even the broken cup seemed to have no concern to spare for her. Its shattered edge cut her fingertip when she made to pick it up. A trickle of warm red blood ran across her unearthly white skin. As painful a sight as it was, it had sort of taboo beauty to it. The blood spilling from her fingers showed no signs of slowing down. She clenched her hand into a fist, let out a sigh, and went back to collecting the shards of porcelain. When she did... Madam, what's the matter? Madam, you're bleeding. While all the other maids ignored her, one came running over, shouting, to the white-haired girl's side. We need to get that cleaned and bandaged up. Oh, and you don't need to pick that up. That's not your job, madam. It's alright, Maria. There's not much to pick up. It is not at all alright. And the rest of you, why are you just standing there? Your boss's wife is on her hands and knees, and you're not even lifting a finger to help her? You disgust me. Maria, it's fine, really. Oh, madam. If you weren't so timid, this wouldn't happen. You're allowed to yell at them, you know. It's alright, really. It's my fault. I do really like her dress. Anyways, we should get that finger taken care of. Let's get back to your room, okay? But the broken cups and the spill. As I said, that's the maid's work. Now come on, let's go. Okay. And the rest of you, get this mess cleaned up. Oh, Maria laying down the... She roared like the wind in a thunderstorm. The other maids stood there dumbfounded, watching as she and the white-haired girl disappeared down the hall. They were soon frowning and grumbling to one another. You think she can act all high and mighty just because the master is fond of her? Aw, I hope Maria starts power bombing them. The woman's name was Maria. She was one of the maids. She was the person in the mansion the white-haired girl could think of, and she was the one person in the mansion the white-haired girl could think of as an ally. Her husband paid her no mind and the maids made her life miserable. Just one person, Maria, treated her with respect and kindness. I am sure you can readily imagine just how much of a lifesaver that was for her. Yeah, Maria gets a pet. Really weird to say that. It's my mom's name, which I've never called my mom her name. Which I don't know if any of you guys do that. Like, one of my buddies, it was weird going over his house because he called his parents other names besides like mom and dad. I'm like, that's really weird. Half the time I forget what their names are. The only reason I know my dad's name is because it's the same as mine. I too found myself somewhat relieved that Maria was there for her. Being a servant of this house, I was also one of the maids working there at that time. However, I wasn't able to involve myself to any greater degree in her fate. This meant that there was little I could do to assist her, even in times of pain and unpleasantness. I like that song, Diabetes. I don't call that. Yeah, I don't... The best I could do was pray that Maria would continue to lend the white-haired girl her hand. I remember the one time I was at a wedding and they're like, which party, or like, who are you related to? I'm like, I'm my mom's son. I'm like, shit, what is my mom's name? I was younger, but, you know. And that does it. Thank you, Maria. You're always such a big help. Oh no, no need to thank me. I just did what any good maid should do. No one else in the room, you know. Alright, then can I drop the act? Man, I just can't get used to talking all stuffy. Out here doing my best, but the head maids still spound stuff like, your manner of speaking is improper for a servant. Every single time we meet. Come on, just shove it, would you? You're a damn creep. Now, you mustn't speak of her like that. Sorry, slip of the tongue. Just kinda gives me the willies, you know? Speaking of, you dropped the stuffy talk too, madam. Kinda awkward if the only one of us is acting casual, you know? This is normal for me. If I attempted to talk like you, I would freeze up out of nervousness. This is my casual. Fair enough. Guess that's what happens when you're raised well. I like it though. He has a very regal feel about it. I don't think my upbringing is the only factor. But you know, upbringing is important. Worth a whole lot more than money, I'd say. I suppose. Thank you, Maria. You're always so compassionate. You betcha. They don't call me the Virgin Mary for nothing. I practically bleed compassion. You know, that might be true. You very well could be the reincarnation of the Mother of God. No. You were supposed to laugh at that. It's just embarrassing if you take it seriously. Alone in the white-haired girl's room, Maria was acting much more friendly and relaxed as they conversed, as opposed to her no-nonsense attitude in the hallway. The two women were, as you can see, quite close. They had crossed over the wall separating master from servant and built a bond of friendship.
When you're winning, everything is always a lot more fun, right? That usually helps.
It does. And at some point, they had begun to speak frankly with one another when no one else was around. Maria was the only person in the mansion around whom the white-haired girl felt comfortable being open. So good. I imagine she very much enjoyed these moments of conversation. You wish to know who the head maid was? My. You sure you want to ask me that, master? Some questions are better left unasked, for your own good. I have to say, madam, you have the prettiest fingers. Mine are all rough and dry and nasty. You think so? Mine have the slightest bit of muscle. They're about as frail as dead branches. Oh, who needs beefy mitts anyways? I still think healthy-looking hands like yours are far more attractive. What? What's to like about these things? Why don't all the world dream of having hands like yours? Slender, feminine, and perfectly cared for. I don't know. Just looking at them lights a fire in my loins. Makes me want to lick every last one of them. Alright, we really like Maria now. Actually, say, can I lick them? Can I run my tongue up and down all 10 of those sweet little digits? Come on, can I? What do you say? Stop that, Maria, seriously. I'm kidding, I'm just kidding. Oh, Maria. Alright, how did those tea leaves turn out, madam? The ones you imported.
Wait, I beg of you!
All the maids just adore it. I'm kidding, unless you're cool with it. No, I'm kidding. I'm just... They can't get enough of that aroma. I'd sure like to get a taste of it. If you end up with extra, you think you could spare a sip for me? Ah, that was, what was in the cups I dropped? What, really? Well, ain't that a crying shame? And Jack wouldn't have any of it? God, why does that man have such a stick up his ass? I went through all the trouble of making it for him, and he was busy. Not his fault. Busy? You mean playing billiards, drinking bourbon, and puffing a damn cigar? Life. It may look to us like they are just making small talk, but I'm certain their meeting has some importance to their business. It was imprudent of me to try to step into the men's world. That's just not right. I mean, you're his wife. Why shouldn't you be allowed into the room? It doesn't bother me. Have you ever seen her the Song of Fire? No, I haven't. I wouldn't mind if you linked that, though. I never heard the song of it. Like, I know pretty much the whole Charlie Sheen deal, but you don't have to pretend. Here's an idea. How would you like to have some of that tea now? We also have some orange marmalade, which you like so much. Add a scoop of that and a tray of cookies, and we have the perfect tea time. Is that how you guys make tea? I think Em was telling me about the Australian way of making tea is they add 2 or 3 tablespoons of Vegemite. It has to be cold tea though, and then they microwave it for like 6 minutes. You were singing the siren's song, madam. But you really should be doing that with him. He would not have tea. I suspect he does not like it. I don't want it to go to waste, so... Madam, I know it's none of my business, and I have no place at saying this, but it's not possible for a woman to file a divorce these days. And then they rim the glass with a little bit of margarine and some sprinkles. They call it fairy tea. You don't have to sit down and take it, not one bit. You're pretty, well-educated, and still young. There's hope, even if you do leave him. There are plenty of other men out there. You aren't obligated to stick with that arrogant jerk. He's just very busy right now. And there you go again. There was a time when he was kind. I'm glad you took it as a fun, happy way. I'm waiting for you to report me. He wasn't like this when we first met. Back then, he was a little awkward, but a kind man. Him? A kind man? Yes, believe it or not. There was indeed a time. Hey Maria, would you mind giving me a little bit more of your time? Thank you. I'll make some tea and we can talk. Or a control act. It's a joke, Jack. Alright. If you're telling me about when Jack was decent, I'm all ears. Just so you know, we switched Jacopo's name to Jack. I'm not saying your name constantly. Indeed. Debated furry is the clip. As I'm sure you're well aware, our parents arranged our marriage. I like that dress, it's cute. Before I immigrated to this country to be married, I lived in the Misty Island Nation. Portraits of my ancestors hung in the house where I lived. I remember as a child wincing in fear at the sight of them staring down at me. My mother and father were constantly telling me to show them respect, as if it was their hard work that kept our bloodline alive and well. However, they were fighting an uphill battle to do the same. We'll check that briefly at Anki afterwards. It would have been clear to anyone reasonably perceptive that our house was coming tumbling down. Valuable furniture and paintings slowly disappeared, and eventually the portraits were gone too. As our house collapsed, so too did many parents' health deteriorate, robbing us of any source of income. And though I was educated, I lacked the skills necessary to obtain work. Just as we were about to run out of money and options, my parents received Jack's parents' marriage proposal. Or proposition, excuse me. Both of our families stood to benefit from the arrangement. I had social status and he had wealth. We each had what the other lacked. One needs more than money to make it in the world. Without at least a semi-reputable name attached to you, you're liable to get laughed out of most social gatherings. I first met Jack here in this country. I guess I mentioned this. I don't know what's going on. I hope it's some cool reveal. We didn't even know what the other looked like until our wedding day. To be quite honest, I was scared to death at first. I was so nervous. What kind of man would he be? Was I to be wed to some middle-aged stranger? We were not marrying because we had fallen in love like a normal couple. I knew I was in no position to be concerned with such things, but when I thought about our future, I shook with fear. But the man I saw through my veil at the wedding was remarkable. He was young, had strong masculine eyes, and at the same time, he appeared nervous. He was shaking so much, no, even more than me. Seeing that, the priest gave an impish little smirk when he asked Jack if he vowed his eternal love to me. I counted myself among the happy. I still do. For in that moment, I experienced true love. You wanted to hear about when he was kind to me? Well, after the wedding, we were given a week to ourselves. I suppose you could call it a honeymoon, but we didn't take a trip overseas or even go all that far out. He looked at me with uncertainty and he asked, "Where would you like to go?" I beg your pardon? That's what this week is for, right? I'll consider granting your request, so tell me where you want to go. This is all so sudden. If nothing? He's a Pokemon. Weeping Bell? I don't know any of the Digimon. Well, this whole engagement was spur of the moment. Normally, we would have planned a trip in advance, but unfortunately our purpose is served so long as we act the part. You must be disappointed that you have to plan your honeymoon as it's happening. No, what? Speak clearly. I don't like when people don't speak their mind. I'm sorry, but I'm happy. Even if this is a political marriage. Well, you're quite the positive thinker. Parents say something to make you think that way? By the way, if you're so glad to be in this arrangement, then hurry up and decide on a destination. Though there is a limit to how far we can go. If you want to take a trip, I'll consider it. What, is something funny? It just seemed comical to me that our honeymoon has begun and we're only now deciding where we want to go. Not in a bad way, though. We got our parents to arrange everything for us. Perhaps you've heard, but I am quite sensitive to sunlight and not in the best of health. It would be rather trying for me to spend a full week out of the house. We couldn't go on a trip, but if it's not too much trouble. Speak up. Would you show me around town? I'm new to this country and unfamiliar with its customs. And I'm rather afraid to go wandering about on my own. Show you around. Yes. Would that be possible? On a rare bit of time off, you asked me to show you around town? Is that really the most exciting idea you have? This isn't painting him as a sweet man either, I gotta say. I'm sorry. If there is somewhere you would like to go, I'm fine with that. I'll accompany you anywhere. As if I could drag someone who just professed to be sickly all over the country. My God, I've lost all interest in a trip. Oh, he's so romantic. Hello? What are you doing? Go get ready, now. I beg your pardon? Didn't you want to see the town? You will show me around? You're the one who asked. Not like I have any other options, so yeah, I'll show you around. Thank you. Don't just stand there, you dullard. Get a move on. Oh, I'm swooning. One moment. Wait for me, please. He hurriedly climbed into the carriage he had called for, a look of frustrated displeasure on his face. Come on, bitch, I love you! What's that song? And then, as if he had forgotten about me until that moment, he returned, grabbed me by the arm, and led me to the carriage. In retrospect, I realized he was not being very gentlemanly. I was pleased that he was making any attempt to interact with me at all. As the carriage trotted down the streets, I saw so many new things. I had spent most of my time cooped up inside at home. It was like stepping into an entirely new world. And add to that the rapid industrial advancement currently taking place. I saw men shouting back and forth as they smacked newspaper articles with the back of their hands. I saw corner cafes crowded with cigar-smoking men on break from work. It was like the hustle and bustle of a festival. But every festival has its underside. I also saw overworked men looking like they were on the verge of collapse, drinking water from a spigot on the side of the road. By way of contrast, I wore fine clothing and had a carriage at my disposal. I imagine every day was a struggle for them just to remain afloat. Had I not married the man I had, I too might have found myself on the streets in a similar situation. But it was not relief that spread through my breast at the sight of them. It was pangs of guilt. It felt to me like a life of opulence was wrong, sinful. It broke my heart to know that I was living so much better than them. Jack snorted disapprovingly at me, seemingly reading my mind, and then said, "The poor man who envies the rich covets his wealth and finds the ambition to make the same for himself, and the rich man who pities the poor, thinking it his duty to give them offerings of philanthropy. To me, the latter is far more nefarious. Excessive charity will ruin a man, him come to expect handouts. And then there are those with the wrong idea of pity, who let themselves fall down to the same place, mistakenly believing it will somehow make the poor feel better. What a joke. If you're going to do anything for them, you might as well encourage them to climb upward, for on economic growth and the flow of capital. Doesn't that sound like the better option?" Saying nothing, simply smiling and giving an ambiguous nod. He had a point. My sympathy and guilt meant nothing to people actually experiencing hardship. If, feeling guilty of my own fortune, I acted upon the pity in the way he had described, it would accomplish little more than self-satisfaction. He seemed to have seen straight through to my very core. This was a man who had built his own fortune through investment, which I imagine required him to be rather astute. But doesn't a world where everyone is constantly trying to climb higher and higher sound rather exhausting? I personally would prefer to be in a position where I could watch, if only from a distance, as others climbed. Obviously, I could not say as much to him. Some time later, the carriage came to a stop in front of a shop. As I looked at the building perplexed, he gestured to the door with his chin, signaling for me to get out. Lost and confused, I stepped down from the carriage, and before me spread a showcase behind a large glass window. You could pick one! However, lined up in the case were not precious metals or expensive clothing, but machines. At first I had no idea what kind of devices they were. Have you never had your photo taken before? No. I have had a portrait painted, though. Are these machines for taking photographs? Portrait, eh? Why am I not surprised? I did not mean to boast. Go on, get in. Please, wait for me. The owner came out to greet us with a wide smile as we entered the shop. Well, if this ain't the strangest thing I've seen all day, you bring in a lady, and a real looker at that, where on earth you catch this pretty little thing? She's my wife. Huh? Well, I beg your pardon. I'll be a monkey's uncle. Just goes to show, you never know where the cards may fall. You make it sound like my getting married is some kind of miracle. I always saw you as one to choose money over love, sir. Oh, pardon me, this isn't appropriate to say in front of your wife. Do you often come to this shop? On occasion. I need some things here from time to time. I see. There you go, smirking again. What's so funny? I want to have our photo taken, yes? So nervous and excited, I've never had one before. I get to take it side by side with you. What are you talking about? Pardon? We said we were getting our pictures taken. And side by side? Please. You're sending shivers down my spine. But this is a photography shop. Hey, shopkeep. The product I contacted you about, is it ready? Oh, yup. Sit tight, I'll be right out. You take a seat. There's a chair over there. What? I'm going to show you something much more exciting than sitting still and waiting in front of a camera lens. Oh? Just do as I say. Okay. I sat down in front of a large mirror, which I presume was normally used to check your appearance before having your picture taken. Standing before a mirror with someone else present was quite nerve-wracking. Out of embarrassment, I dropped my gaze to my knees. But when Jack returned, I was entranced by the curious object in his hands. Aw. What is it? What is this? How small her hands are. You have baby hands. Do you know what persistence of vision is? The human eye does not perceive the world 100% accurately. This is especially true for objects in motion. It remembers images for a short time, so if you put a new image in the same place, your eye perceives it as in motion. Seeing for yourself would be faster than explaining it. You see the slits in the disc? Look through the bottom one and into the mirror. Oh, okay. Good, just like that. Bring your head in close. Here goes. Standing behind me, he slid his finger across the top of the pure toy, causing it to spin gracefully. And then... Oh, am I going to see moving pictures? But what did you see? They're dancing. A man and woman are dancing. Sounds like you're not having any trouble seeing it. Are they dancing well? Yes, they are. Most adorable thing. What, adorable? That's funny. I asked to have it modeled after a ballroom dance. And that's why I have the ballroom dance tag. Roll credits. Stream over. Yes, it's a very elegant dance. But you see, they're small, like little dwarves, which I thought was kind of cute. They seem so close, going around and around without ever letting go of each other's hands. This is incredible. Why does it look like they're dancing? They were all lined up in a row a few moments ago. Goodness, I just explained that to you. It's playing a trick on your eyes. What you're seeing is a lot of different pictures in a short period of time. To put it in words you might understand better, it's an illusion. Your eyes are being fooled into thinking the image is moving. An illusion. But they're dancing, they really are. And they look like they're having a wonderful time. Are you sure it's an illusion and not something else? To me, it does not seem to be. I cannot see it as anything but two tiny people dancing. That's how it works. You touch your hand and try to grab them. You won't be able to. Ah, you're right. That's a shame. I didn't think you actually would. But it's the most precious thing. They look as though they're dancing atop my palm. I was mesmerized by this strange phenomenon. Pictures were moving, after all. Still images had begun dancing before me. It was almost as if God had breathed life into them. Told me. He had called it an illusion, but I could not grasp that. It was such an adorable, heartwarming sight. I imagined the two were off living in some other world, separate from our own. They looked so happy. Almost certain that they were off dancing in their joyous world. Free from all the sorrow and loneliness and pain of this one. Eventually the speed at which they danced began to slow, as if they were resting their legs. Almost I could hear the sound of their feet with each step. Ah, they've stopped. They can dance forever. They don't get tired. See. I'm amazed such an incredible device exists in this world. I wish I had gone outside sooner. You're someone from as distinguished a house of yours has seen plenty of amazing things with your family. Hardly. I rarely ever left the house. I'm ignorant about the ways of the world. If you had not told me, I would have probably never known about moving pictures, the illusion of moving pictures. You like it? Yes, of course. Well, you can't have it. More than the portrait you had painted? Yes, I do. The painting was wonderful too, but you can't seem to make up your mind. Go on, tell me. Which do you like better, the portrait or this? I like this better. I see. You look somewhat pleased? Though, when it comes down to it, this is a simple trick only a child would fall for. Then, I suppose that makes me a child. And you married a child? You're going to jail, Jack. If it means I get to watch something as splendid as two tiny people dancing, I'll happily fall for the trick. Quit describing it as two tiny... Quit, quit describing it as two tiny people dancing. Going to lose your head that far up in the clouds. Oh, I'm sorry. I don't know how else to describe it, though. It's a toy called a phenakistoscope? I don't know how to say that. Sorry. Phenakistope? Close. Phenakistoscope. I've never seen that word. Hold on. Hold on. And, why won't you just tell me, Google?
Phenakistoscope.
Yeah, pretty close. Close enough. It was invented around 30 years ago. I had the shopkeep make one modeled after the original design. The shop owner drew this? He did. A lot better than you expect, isn't he? Yes, indeed. Surprised he could draw something so cute. That to his face and he'll go red as a beet. I'd give to get a load of that. You should tell him the next time you see him. He's a sweet man. Despite how he looks, you mean? It's not right to judge people based on their appearance. I'm just kidding. Don't take it too seriously. Shopkeep here loves new technology. That phenakistoscope is one such invention that caught his eye. You can trick the eye into thinking drawings are moving. Using a sequence of photos, you can perhaps make it seem as though real people are moving too. And if it becomes possible to show those images to many people at once, these developments can broaden the options artists have to express themselves. Not drawings, but photographs? Yes, photos. By taking hundreds or perhaps thousands of photographs, it would be possible to reproduce the world as we see it. This room, people walking down the streets. There's no point in recording boring everyday life, though. If you're going to leave a record of anything behind, it should be the projects and enterprises that move nations. Say, for example, a moving record of the opening ceremony of the railroad. That would be something worth watching. And then in time, it would expand beyond a mere record-keeping technology and find its way into the hands of artists. Is such a thing possible? You must remain still for a long time just to take a single photograph. Right now it isn't, but eventually it will be. And I'm not simply fantasizing here.
Do you have a problem with my nippleless chest?
Is that so? Sounds so very futuristic. Do you... What? Do you want to support people who work on that sort of thing? Is that why you were friends with the owner? It has nothing to do with my wants. I merely think there's money in it. The rich starve for entertainment and the artists create that entertainment. I have no interest in their pretentious self-expression. I just want their money. What? What's so funny? You look like you're enjoying yourself.
I am an artist.
By the way, the chapter name is Beautiful Recollections. Honestly, it's just about the money. As you say. Alright, let's get moving. Next is dinner. You're the one like it. What? We're leaving already? Like, it's kind of fun to draw every now and then, Em, and you're like, just pay me. Does that displease you? No, not at all. To tell you the truth, I wanted to spend a little more time playing with the Phenakis wheel, but I could not bring myself to say as much. Reluctantly, I approached the owner to return the wheel. Don't bother. Bring it with you. Well, but if you don't want it, that's fine too. Make your decision quickly. You're making the driver wait. Having said that, Jack exited the shop. Alternating between looking at his back and the Phenakis wheel, debating on what I wanted to do. And then, with a smile, the owner whispered to me, "You're allowed to keep it, really. Your husband out there had it made as a gift for you." For me? A little while back, he came to my shop asking if I could make a phenakistoscope. Now that about knocked me out of my chair. He's a man who almost never asks for favors. He's pretty damn brusque, and he's got a tongue sharp enough to cut steel. He's not wicked to his core, I swear it. Please, man, be a pillar of support for him. Probably paid him to tell her that, too. Good. I don't like Jack. In that moment, the Fennicus wheel became a precious treasure to me. We only just married days earlier, and yet he had commissioned it for me without even knowing what I looked like. I was filled with a warm, pleasant elation. I agreed with the owner. Jack was not a bad man. He merely had difficulty expressing himself. Oh my god. I can't believe I have to read that. Hurrying back to the carriage, I gave him my deepest thanks. He glanced over at me for a moment, then turned back towards the window and muttered, "Yeah." From there, we went to a restaurant for dinner. You call this a pizza? This crust is an atrocity. Like I'm chewing on rubber. How can you wave my country's flag and not serve spaghetti? Do you have any shame at all? This wine is pitifully unbalanced, far too high levels of acidity. Listen to me carefully, the house wine is the face of a restaurant. He complained about every little thing. It was a complete disaster. But curious enough, I was not at all put off by his behavior. When the sun set, the carriage made its way to a nearby hill. This is the beginning of Olive Garden. The cool nighttime breeze felt wonderful on my skin, flushed from the alcohol, and the light from the gas lamps had a warmth to it. Though Jack had complained about the quality of the wine, once he had intoxicated himself, his mood improved visibly. It made him unexpectedly talkative. Look out at the city. Oh god, that would have been perfect for the first chapter of this game. When you're here, your family. Oh. A gloomy town that shuts down at night isn't suited to expansion or growth, but this city isn't like that. You can see people walking beneath the lamps, and you can hear the bustle of them talking. This is great, like, someone comes in, "Can you bring me up to speed, Ken?" Yeah, sure. So our sister wanted to nail us, and instead we tried to nail our half-sister, but the sister cut off the half-sister's hair, possibly scalp, we're not sure, and put it on and tried to do us that way. Don't worry, they all died. And this is a city that still has plenty of room to grow. As they ride the rising wave of the economy, many, many more people will gather here. More people means more money in circulation. Don't worry, the second chapter gets better. Actually, I like the first chapter better than the second chapter. More money in circulation means the city grows, companies are founded, and more goods are bought and sold. Will it really change so drastically? It can be difficult to see what's happening from the inside. The majority of people just go about their daily lives, and the next thing they know, things are different. No, I'd wager most don't notice the changes at all. Only those with eyes sharp enough to realize what's happening can see success. I cannot afford to overlook even the most minute change. You have a dream of some kind? A dream? I'm not sure if it's easy enough to attain to call a dream. Others might call it greed, or perhaps ambition. Don't laugh now. My intention is to make the world mine. The world? Yes, the world. And to do that, you need neither physical strength nor kindness, but money and influence. People have no choice but to kneel before those forces. Why are you so intent on obtaining power? Because I want to change my country, I imagine. Your country. You are aware that I, like you, am an immigrant, right? I emigrated from an island in the Mediterranean, but not the same island as you. My country is a peculiar place where candor and violence go hand in hand. As a whole, the country is on the poor side, and if nobody does anything about that, I am one but a few of my fellow countrymen who has set his sights on the New World. They are falling far behind other nations. If I find success here, perhaps that will catch their attention. But if it doesn't, then my country is doomed to collapse. You have much love for your homeland. My feelings are a little more complicated than mere love. But that's nothing you need to concern yourself with. Well, I'll have to remember not to get myself drunk around a woman again. For everything I just said. About time we head back to the house. Alright, but, what is it? Is it alright if I provide you encouragement as you try to attain your dream? Go on, Cerebi. I know my presence is more likely to be a hindrance. I would like to be there to watch as you trek forward. I suppose, do as you wish. Thank you. have my support then. Darling? That's a shiver down my spine, though not an unpleasant one. I'm glad to have you as my partner. I was, without a doubt, happy then. His smile, the things he said, the Fennicus wheel he gave me, they were all undeniably real. Those memories give me the will to wait. For the day things go back to the way they were. I'm sure it was kind of an ass then. They allow me to believe. What's your character in D&D? I don't know too much about it besides I really like the whole idea of seducing doors and stuff like that. And I think that usually gets memed about because everyone tries to pick a seducing character as their first D&D character. This is something that actually happened to another maid. She heard a sound in the middle of the night. It sounded like dripping water. At first she thought it was raining, so she looked through the window. There wasn't a cloud in the sky to cover the stars. Maybe it's a faucet, she thought. So she stepped out of her room and into the corridor. Compared to her room, it was unearthly chilly. The maid regretted not bringing something to cover herself
69, nice.
That didn't make any sense. Normally, the temperature wasn't that much colder outside her room. Her night clothes had always been more than enough for a trip to the lavatory. Wondering what the reason could be, she made her way towards the sound, but then she realized something. There were faucets in the direction she was going. Rather, she was headed towards a hall. The mansion where she served had many halls. This was one off in a far corner of the house, the least used hall of them all. It had a high roof, but not a lot of space, so it was difficult to make good use of. It also had a somewhat heavy air to it, a very curious room. It was the kind of place you might assign someone to clean as part of their hazing. Anyway, when the maid realized the sound was coming from that particular hall, she might, as you expect, let out an uncomfortable sigh. There might be a leak, and having noticed, she couldn't simply ignore it, you know? Oh. So as much as she hesitated, she pushed open the doors to the hall. There was nobody there, and it didn't look like anything was leaking either. There were no puddles or water stains anywhere to be found. She could still hear the drip, drip getting louder and louder. Stepping further into the room, looking left and then right and then left again, she searched for the source of the sound. Coming to a stop in the center of the hall. She stood there, quiet, and then a chilly spot on the nape of her neck. With a little yelp, she reached back to feel her neck, but it wasn't wet. She slowly, warily tilted her head backward. And there hung a bloody skeleton from the ceiling. That's rich. Amazing. Oh my god, you scream like a little girl. But Maria, you little... My god, are you men or children? This is my house. I'd rather you didn't talk about it like that. Come on, Jack. Whose words were those again? Shut your mouth. What do you know about that? Were you eavesdropping? What are the odds of like the only two people I know I call Jack? So, this individual, Jacopo, has been renamed as Jack because it's easier to say. I'm not calling your name constantly. And another thing, I do not care for the sort of stupid, fantastical tales you women so love to pass around. Because they scare you? Ah, you've never been able to handle anything scary, Jack. Whoa, don't glare at me like that. You're gonna destroy my sides. It is short for Jackass. He's not a nice individual. So, did you come here for the sole purpose of telling me that cheap tripe? Acting tough after the fact just makes you look like twice as much of a wuss. Well, I mean, I did make up a good half of it. But the maid really did hear a sound in the middle of the night. They came from the back hall of this very mansion. Did you know? They say it used to be a chapel? Again, I have no interest in you women's little ghost stories. Is that so? You sure you're just not scared? Maria! Well, that said, the rumors aren't completely unfounded. This is a pretty old mansion and has a lot of work done on it. It feels like it's very holding itself together. Like a big old quilt with pieces from all different time periods. The back hall was one of the oldest patches. There's a huge window on the far end, and supposedly there used to be stained glass in it. It was a depiction of an archangel, they say. Such a shame. I wonder when it was broken. If it were still there, I bet it'd be worth a fortune. I find that hard to believe. First of all, why would anyone put a chapel inside of a mansion? You've got a point, I guess. Now how about you do some actual work instead of distracting yourself with all this nonsense? I do work, but other maids can be a bit nasty, you know? Dealing with other women is always like walking on glass. Am I to blame for that? What if I said you were? Haha, don't give me that look. Just not fond of me, simple as that. Nothing you can do about it. Is that so? Oh yeah, I was talking to the madam. She was telling me he used to be quite the gentleman. Were you perhaps actually in love back then? Oh, is she gonna... she's a narc? I liked Maria. You sure don't act like it. So it's easy to miss, but I guess you're not made entirely out of steel. Just like when we were younger. You're still... do not speak of that. The past is not worth remembering. It is unnecessary. But to you, the past exists just to be cast aside? Nah, it's not important. You don't want me to talk about it. I won't talk about it. But your wife... Never mind. I'll leave you be. I'll get back to work soon, or I'll be staring down the head maid's Arctic smile. Alright. Fancy strikes me. If the fancy strikes me, I'll drop by and we can trade some more ghost stories. Maria. What? No ghost stories? No, not that. I have not forgotten those days. But no, I'll be off then. Alright. If the fancy strikes you, drop by and we can trade something other than ghost stories. What'd I tell you? I'll consider it. Goodbye. God damn it. Can't escape anything. They better not be talking about bodily fluid. Because not only are we like mean to our wife, but we cheat on her as well. This is a shitty story to read. And with that, I'm going to save and take a quick break. I'll be right back. Pause the sound.
I'll fight all you bitches today.
Back with more hot cocoa and more mini marshmallows. The big diabetes one. Oh. Pause this. Other music going and back into. Hopefully. Ah, they have grown to be so beautiful. What's good with you, Jack? A wonderful fragrance. The scent of roses is so calming. I wonder why that is. Would it cause any trouble if I picked one? Oh, Ghost is back. Well, hello there. Out for a midnight stroll, are you? Your hobby, madam. I can't spend as much time as I would like outside during the day, so I end up coming out at night. I apologize if I startled you. Oh no, not at all. There is a chilling, captivating beauty to the sight of your snow-white form standing there in the moonlit garden. I would hardly... what are you doing out so late? I saw a figure through the window. On the slight chance it might be a burglar, I thought it'd be my responsibility to ensure they did not break in. It was also the middle of the night when the grocer's servant broke into their safe. News of that spread quite far. I'm sure you would have heard about it. Oh, but Gamache was in prison some time ago. Hear me. I can't seem to get my head out of the past. Didn't you bring that up the first time? You intend to give that white rose to someone? Yes. I was thinking about giving it to my husband. While I expect he has little fondness for such feminine tastes, the scent of flowers has a truly calming effect. He might find it relaxing when he needs a reprieve from his work. Oh, is that so? You are very kind-hearted. Speaking of white roses, the rose he meant to give you was the same shade of white. Oh, he? But when you touched it, it turned a deep shade of red. There was but a single white rose in the garden. He was unable to give it to you as he had wished. In its place, he had a decorative rose fashioned for you. What exactly are you referring to? Dear, do you not remember? Then am I to assume you had forgotten what happened to the rose accessory as well? I was unable to give that to you either. But that time because you rejected the gift. I'm not criticizing you for your decision, of course. You had a perfectly good reason for not accepting it. Heartbroken from having lost you, he buried the rose in this garden. Over the years, the roses in the garden withered away, and in their place grew a thick and stately nest of weeds. Many, many years later, that accessory is dug up by a beast. And curiously enough, it had not a speck of rust on it. A beast? Do you not remember him either? The foreign man who, through his interaction with you, almost regained his humanity. I'm sorry? I have no idea what you're speaking of. The only gift I have ever received from a man is my Fennicus wheel. And furthermore, I have only lived in the mansion for a year. While the garden was not as thriving as it is now, it was certainly not in ruins when I arrived. Because I had been taking care of it, yes. But for whatever reason, my hands alone, I was unable to make it into anything quite as splendid as it is now. Once you arrived, I began to work on it, however. Let's look around. You have restored it to its former glory, to the magnificence of the flaxen-haired family's time. I promise I'm not trying to fault you for anything. Now that I think about it, it makes sense you would not remember. Though you are still you, you are different than before. Different, though not in a sense you are a wholly distinct person. Tell me, is your name again? My name is, yes, but you sure already know that. Again. More proof that you are indeed you. Did you know that your current name is pronounced the same as the name of the person you were waiting for? About. I've met you many times. I know your past, of events that transpired long, long ago. I'm telling you the truth. I first came to this mansion just a year ago. Until then, I had never left my country, or even set foot out of my home. We did not have any servants either. So where, then, are you saying we met? Mansion, of course. But I'm telling the truth. It was a year ago. Or after my parents fell ill and received an offer for my marriage. The Evangelion thing, it's just a bunch of rays. Knew something had to be done. I knew it. And so I... Get in the robot, Shinji! I'm telling the truth. If that is what you remember, then I do not doubt you. But I also suspect I know why you seem so flustered. Are there moments when your memories seem easy? When it seems like important details have fallen through the cracks? You needn't fret. One day, eventually, you shall remember all. One day. I mean, it's kind of all of us, right? Am I the white-haired maid? Maybe. The hell is this? A white rose? Did she leave this here? A flower? What do you think she's doing? Is she trying to aggravate me? That garden. That damn rose garden is the whole problem. Flowers serve no purpose but to deceive. That garden is a sign of weakness. No place in this house. Well, approximately a week had passed since then. This isn't good. This chapter's title is Her Sanctuary Shattered. I don't think this is going to get better for her. The white-haired girl was, as usual, spending her time in her room, reading, staying inside the house. Then Maria barged in. Madam! Oh my, you're out of breath. What happened? What happened is we have a big problem. The garden, the rose garden. All the roses you put so much love and care into growing are being chopped down. We'll lose them all if you don't hurry. Oh, upon hearing the news, the white-haired girl dashed from her room and towards the garden, with Maria following close by. When she arrived, she saw a dozen or so sweaty, rugged men at work, Jack shouting orders. The men queried no concept how much a single flower was worth, no concern whatsoever for their beauty, but they mercilessly, thoughtlessly hacked away at the shrubs like they were naught but weeds. Each flower they tore from the earth extinguished another of the many lives that the white-haired girl had put so much time and effort into tending for. See, this is how you start. This is the Stephen King showing, not telling. Jack, what are you... Oh, hello, Maria. I didn't expect you would come with her. Why would you do... Why? Why, it goes without saying. This house has no need of a garden. Damn flowers have no place here. Might as well do something worthwhile with the soil. A miniature railroad would be a better use of the space, and certainly a great deal easier on the eyes. I can even get my hands on some genuine wheels. The same wheels being used on the revolutionary Transcontinental Railroad. 120 years down the line, they'll be worth a fortune. Jack, you know how much this garden meant to me, don't you? You honestly have no place here? Flowers have a calming effect on people. They give you peace. They are not, by any means, worthless. You're saying that white rose was your passive-aggressive way of telling me to calm down? Not at all. I simply thought you... At the end of the day, you're just using them for your own purposes, to trick and deceive. To you, this rose garden was nothing but... Jack! You've gone too far. This isn't right. Gone too far? This is my mansion. What I do with my property is my business. With that rose arch out of the picture, we'll have a much better view. There won't be anything blocking the sun any longer. Yeah, I don't know how this guy is less likable than the dude that literally killed everybody. Weren't you supposed to be sensitive to sunlight? Spend too much time out here and you're liable to fall ill. Get back inside now. You too, Maria. The poor thing, though she did not say a word, was surely thinking, are you truly that determined to rob me of my sanctuary? And the words twirled around in her head, unable to make the final journey to her lips. She stood there, looking down at her feet as her husband marched off, and listened to the screams of the roses being reaped. You hear screams of the lambs, Clarice? After being torn down by Jack, the garden reverted to a state of ruined desolation. A shame after all the work that went into restoring it to the beauty it had under the flaxen-haired family. And as Jack had said, in its place went scraps of metal, train wheels, prototype models, carbon rods. These items may have had value for him, but I certainly do not think it was worth robbing his wife of a place that made her feel comfortable, just so he could store them there. I mean, he could have even integrated, like, a rose carrying railroad system would have been kind of cool. Besides, I was rather fond of the rose garden myself. The roses seemed to evoke a sense of nostalgia in me. I felt as though somewhere far beyond the edge of my memories, I'd seen another garden of roses, modest though it may have been. I cannot remember when it was. Does that count as a surprise to you? I am quite sure there are periods of the mansion's history of which I am not aware. But in any case, Jack had caused many people great pain in order to repurpose that garden for himself. And he continued to walk all over his wife. Whenever she tried to do something kind for him, he would brush her off, saying, "That's not your place." He paid no mind whatsoever to the looks of dejection that rose to her face each time he rejected her. I began to wonder if anything she had said about the man he had been a year earlier was actually true. Oh yeah, this is only a year later. And if it was true, could a person really go through such a drastic change of heart in such a short time? What do you think, Master? No, I've spoken enough about me already. I seem to be talking a lot about myself this time. But that is hardly appropriate behavior for a maid. Now let's return to our tale. That evening, the white-haired girl sat in her room staring sorrowfully at her Fennicus wheel. A small mirror before her, she tried spinning the paper disc. Not the same as before. Her husband was not there at her side, and even more critically, there was not a smile on her face. And then she heard a faint knock on her door. Who is it? It's me, madam. It's me. I've come to lick those fingers. May I come in? Oh, Maria. Of course. Come in. What are you doing here at this time of night? Just wondering how you were doing. I've left you alone? Oh, it's no trouble at all. I'm always glad to have you. You're making me blush, madam. I got the feeling you were a little down in the dumps. I'm not here because I need to be. I just kinda ended up here, I guess. Maria. Sorry I'm not making any sense. I can be a bit of a busybody, you know? A couple of boundaries, I guess. Never been able to fix that. Oh no, I don't consider you intrusive at all. I can't count how many times your bright smile and cheerful energy has shone a light on me when things were dark. If I didn't have you, I would have given up already.
See me when I strip down?
You seem to see right through me. Even now, you are exactly right. I'm feeling a little dispirited. The garden was an even bigger life raft than I had thought. Perhaps I am being overly dramatic, but the roses are almost like children to me. I get it, I do. You put your heart and soul into tending that garden. It was obvious how much you loved them. Of course it's going to hurt watching a bunch of men stomp all over your flowers when you cared for them like your own children. I remember if I wrote that out and you said it, so it was like a trick, but maybe. Now, I know I said this once already. You don't need to force yourself to put up with him, really. You don't have to bend to his will just because you're a woman. You can survive without him. Anytime you want to walk away, that's your choice. I mean, I'd sure be lonely if you left, madam, but your happiness is more important than any of that. So, you know, thank you, Maria. I truly do appreciate it. But I would still like to wait for the day I can see his warm smile once more. You say so? Well, in that case, I guess I'll just have to be there to back you up. I'll be alright. You leave everything to this holy virgin. I'll have a stupid grin on my face no matter how down you're feeling. You are the reincarnation. The mother of God, aren't you? Oh, I told you, it's just a joke. Oh, God. Eh, whatever. So, hey, madam, how about a dance? A dance? At this time of night? Yep. And since it's late, no loud music. All you get is a little whistling courtesy of me. But this room is too small for her. Use the Great Hall. Wouldn't that put us in everyone else's way? Probably complain about the noise too. No need to worry. Jack's out inspecting some factory or something today. After he's got a meeting, so he'll be staying the night elsewhere. The rest of the maids are all in their rooms chatting away. No one will notice. Where I come from, we dance all the time. We take eat, drink, and be merry to the heart. No food or drink for us, but we absolutely can dance. You're just jealous you can't wink. Dancing's a great way to forget all your cares. I'm not much of a dancer. No big deal, nobody's watching. Come on, put a little fancy perfume and let's have some fun. I don't have any perfume though. Didn't think so. Got all the right ingredients, madam. You don't try to make anything special out of it. You got so much potential, but not even a decent sized wardrobe. At the very least, you should wear some perfume, which is why, ta-da, I brought some with me. Maids are in love with this stuff. It's a big hit with women all over the country. Had to wink just in case. The base is vanilla and it's got several other fragrances mixed in. Give it a try. It smells divine. It smells like a whale. But Maria, Come on, what's the harm? Just splash a little on your wrist, like so. What do you think? You were right, it smells wonderful. Doesn't it? So you like it? Yes, very much so. Excellent. Now off we go, to the Great Hall. Are we really going to dance? You bet your butt we are. Not healthy to hole up in your room all day. I know you can't handle a lot of sunlight, but you still got to have some fun and move your body. Come on, let's go. Go, Maria. Even though I don't really trust Maria, I hope they don't kill her too. Though she looked outwardly uncertain as Maria led her forward. Hand around her wrist, the white-haired girl seemed to be enjoying herself on the inside. Having spent her life without a single friend, she never dreamed of the day would come when she would find herself being dragged through the empty halls of a dark mansion by another woman. Maria's presence seemed to shine a light upon the quiet corridor. It would have been a very lonely trek without her. Maria spun around, gave an impish smirk, and raised her pointer finger to her lips with a soft shh. Or she's a con woman too. The sight of it caused the white-haired girl to chuckle quietly. The two of them, on their way to their secret private ball, were like two adolescent girls. In short order, they arrived at the Great Hall. My heart was pounding all the way here. What's there got to be nervous about? It's not like you're breaking any rules. Only kids get in trouble for staying up late. Once you've grown up, you're responsible for yourself. I will say, though, that it seems rather odd for two women to dance together. Oh, if you're having a good time, what does it matter what's between your legs? Where I come from, there are dances where families lock arms in a big ring and go around in circles. This is actually the picture I took to use for my example. Who says two girls can have some fun together? I imagine you have many good moments with your family. You mistake the trust. Well, I don't have any family anymore. What? Alright, so I'll show you how it's done. Watch carefully, because you're up next. Okay. With a wide grin on her face, Maria began whistling softly and prancing across the floor with an energetic rhythm. Not the kind of complicated dance you'd see at a fancy party. The motions were simple, flowing, unembellished. A folk dance, I suppose you might call it. She seemed to be improvising a little bit as well. In any event, the white-haired girl was captivated. Despite it being a sequence of steps anyone could replicate, Maria breathed life into the dance. She was neither as lithe an acrobat nor as light on her feet as a professional dancer. It was her own lively, beautiful self. Maria twirled in place, the skirt of her maid uniform billowing gently up around her. With a smile, she extended her hand towards the white-haired girl. She hesitated for a moment, but as if pulled forward by some invisible force, she took Maria's hand. Hand in hand, Maria ushered the white-haired girl into her dance. It was just the two of them, but you could almost see the crowd forming around them. Other people stepping up to join in. That's it, madam. Doing great. Now lift your leg up good and spin like so. This is not easy, Maria. I'm having trouble following along. You can do it. Good so far. You're a natural, madam. Oh, Maria. I won't fall for your flattery. I mean it. The whispers of two girls, their muffled laughs. Step, hop, step, step. The rustling of fabric. Many different soft sounds layered atop one another, creating a little bubble of happiness in the center of the hall. The white-haired girl's movements were a great deal clumsier than Maria's, but Maria would never disparage her for that. On the contrary, she showered her with praise. As flustered as the white-haired girl appeared, I imagined she was quite pleased. Before long, the tightness in her face muscles loosened, a smile spread across her lips, and she began to brighten up. See, what'd I tell you? Fun, huh? Yes, I'm quite surprised, both that I can dance and that I enjoy doing it so much. Glad to hear it. They exchanged looks and both laughed. That might have been the first time I'd ever seen the white-haired girl so delighted. However, because of her infirmity, she quickly found herself out of breath, her porcelain skin flushed red. Maria immediately stopped for a break. She could surely have continued dancing for some time yet, but Maria was conscientious of the white girl's physical condition. She looked over at Maria regretfully. My apologies, if only I had more stamina. Story of my life. I am hardly a suitable partner for you, Maria. Here you are. This is all to cheer you up, madam. So long as you're having fun, nothing else matters. And heck, I'm enjoying myself plenty too. What do you think? Wouldn't it be nice to do this again sometime? Whenever you're feeling down, let's dance. If you really do enjoy dancing with a frail girl like me, then I would be glad to. A little bit of confidence in yourself, madam. You're so pretty and kind-hearted. I have loads of fun when I'm with you. You don't need to be so hard on yourself, got it? Thank you. Oh, I do like Maria. The pleasure is mine. It is an absolute honor to have the rare opportunity to see such a bright smile on your face, madam. My apologies for keeping you out so late. I should get back to my room. I didn't even realize what time it was. I'm more than up for a little more gum flapping. You have improved my mood you have improved my mood more than adequately. I would not want you to be tired for work tomorrow. Okay. Well then, let's get out of here. Yes, let's. Smiles on both their faces, they made to exit the great hall. However, before they reached the door, it swung open. A man's towering shadow cast the two women into darkness, his cold, bitter glare affixed on them. If I had even the faintest premonition this might happen, I would have done anything in my power to stop the two cheery girls on their way to the hall. But I am eternally powerless. What are you doing? Standing before them in the doorway was the master of the house, Jack. I thought you would not be back until tomorrow. And how would you know that? Oh, forget that. Does my staying the night elsewhere have any effect on you? You were just waiting for this opportunity, weren't you? No. What would I possibly want you out of the house for? I'm sure you know better than anyone. What? What is that smell? Perfume? When did you get perfume? I have to say, you seem to be having quite the time. Look at you, you're out of breath, red as a beet. I made the right decision coming back. Where the hell were you going? I wasn't going. Yeah, calm down, seriously. You shut it. Now you're taking this tramp's side? I've told you before, you are not to leave this house without first consulting me. You mean to tell me you've forgotten? God, your ears aren't just for show, are they?
I'm going to be
They're
a
better
beautiful
than
dancing
that.
girl, star of the stage.
They'll even throw out the parts you don't want to hear. I swear I wasn't doing anything. Silence, I have no interest in your excuses. You're always watching from the shadows, observing, trying to step on anyone's toes. And in the back of your mind, you're mocking me. No, listen up and listen good. You just try stepping out of line again. You just try disgracing me again. You will not get away with it. For the love of God, get back to your room now. You too, Maria. Alright. What is that sickening sweet smell? Oh, utterly infuriating. Take forever to get this off of me. I always thought you had at least some sense of taste. Why did you have to disparage her so? What did she do wrong? What did she do to deserve that? Did nothing whatsoever wrong. Oh, did she get cut off again? She did nothing whatsoever wrong. She deserved none of the ridicule he showered her with. However, she was not a strong-willed woman. She did not have the courage to retort to the man yelling at her, and neither did Maria, it seemed. Without another word, they both scrambled out of the great hall, away from Jack. The Winter Girl was a painfully miserable sight to behold. The cheer had drained from her spirit and the rosy hue from her now pale cheeks. She was hunched forward slightly, looking like a small, scared animal. Say, I'm sorry, this is all my fault. I didn't ask you to dance, and me bringing the perfume only made things worse. You need not feel bad for anything, Maria. Everything you did was with my best interest at heart. So, don't worry. I'll be fine. So, madam, I'll clear everything up. I really am to blame, after all. I wouldn't even give you the time of day if you tried. He's a stubborn little shit when he's mad. I'll talk to him. He's more likely to listen to me. Make sure he was jumping to conclusions. That I'm the one who dragged you out there to dance. Also, that I forced you to wear the perfume. I'll clear everything up, okay? But please, you cheer up. It would be best if I could tell him myself, but yes, you are right. He would likely not listen to me. He rarely ever listens to me. I should be ashamed. I can't even hold a simple conversation with my own husband. These things happen, you know. Oh, did she set us up? It's not easy being married in a lot of ways. Yes, you're right. I apologize for having you do something so unpleasant, but I would appreciate that. Oh, no problem at all. I'm happy to. No need to apologize. I've got this. I'll dunk his head in cold water until he's not blowing steam from his ears anymore. I'll cool him down, I promise. You never know. Maybe he'll be open to listening. You could be back to the way you were a year ago in no time. Don't you worry. I'll take care of it, madam. Be positive. You look so much better with a smile on your face. Did you hear that, Em? Have you tried smiling more often, Em? Alright. Thank you. I doubted Jack would listen, even coming from Maria. I imagined the white-haired girl felt much the same. However, she grabbed onto that sliver of hope. She let herself dream. She let herself believe, even just faintly, that everything would go well. Such is human nature. When uncertainty has you in its clutches, you grasp at whatever hope you can find to keep yourself afloat. That night, she did not sleep. She was afraid that even in her dreams, Jack would be shouting at her. It felt as though her memories of a year prior were beginning to crumble away. This is great. I love reading domestic abuse. Let's go. This is fun. Actually, I do have to blow my nose real quick, so give me half a moment. I'll be right back. Oh yeah. As I sit on my damn cord. There, buddy. Cord. Okay, this chair with its awesome rollerblade wheels is amazing. The next morning, Jack stood alone in the den by the billiards table. He appeared to be rather agitated. What else is new? His face was twisted into a frown, pointer finger tapping restlessly against the hard surface of the table. Evidently no longer able to stay in one place, he paced a circle around the table, then swiped up a rack and a cue, setting up for a game of 9-ball. I don't really like that, actually. I am not intimately familiar with the ways by which men entertain themselves, but in truth, I was bewitched by the sight of him leaning over the table. It almost seemed as though a steel rod ran straight from his shoulder to the tip of his outstretched finger. upon which the cube was secured by another finger looped over it. With a smooth, flowing motion, he thrust the cube forward slightly, pulling it back and repeated the process once more, before ramming it into the cue balls and then rolling into the diamond of colored balls. A chorus of clicks and clacks emanated from the center of the room. Balls collided with one another and ricocheted off the cushioned walls. A few landed in the pockets situated around the edge of the table. Jack appeared to have accomplished this with little trouble. I imagined merely striking the cue ball with the stick would be rather difficult for someone inexperienced. You know, I never really thought that, but then I have a couple of my buddies who are truly miserable at pool. Like, I had one dude actually fall trying to do it, and I don't think we were particularly intoxicated. But despite his accomplishment, it seemed to only exacerbate his agitation. Lousy positioning? He muttered, though I hadn't the faintest idea what he was talking about. What should have been a game for his enjoyment, he went about with a constant look of exasperation. Well, when I was growing up in high school, we actually had a gorgeous pool table in our basement, because the people who we bought the house from before couldn't move it. It wasn't worth it, even though it was a gorgeous table. Like, I mean, it's one of those multiple $1,000 tables that you would have to like take apart, and just it was great. We had like 3 sets of spare balls. I mean, they were like billiard addicts. I always play a couple games every day with like my dad before he went to work. And my dad and actually my mom are both fantastic at pool. Or billiards, call it whatever you want. And my dad was talking about, he's like, always about it. He's like, Ken, you don't know pressure of a pool game, because he made me watch The Color of Money, which is a very good movie, actually. Tom Cruise, old movie about pool. He's like, Ken, you do not know the pressure of having to sink a shot that you have $100 riding on the game and only $20 in your pocket. He kicked my ass generally every single time, but it was still fun. Which had been a game for his enjoyment, he went about with a constant look of exasperation. I suspect he was using it as a way to blow off steam. And as a result, the tension in the air was palpable. I always loved playing a lot. My aunt owned, we owned a restaurant, but my aunt owned a bar. Whenever we would go there, we would play, bar pool, which is a much smaller table. We just stuff the pockets and play all day. I think we were the youngest people in the beer league. We were both, my cousin and I were 14 when we started playing it. Against other people, you know. I felt it would be improper to intrude upon him, even considering my distaste for the man. There was an undeniable beauty in every motion he made, every perfect audible click of billiards ball bouncing off one another. It was an enchanting sight, but then someone without the slightest regard or appreciation for beauty came marching in with a hammer to shatter it like glass. Gotta say, that was pretty impressive. The man leaned against the frame of the open door. He was neither a resident nor a worker of the mansion. The man's face was covered in scraggly stubble, his body draped in grime-caked garments. His eyes were sunken so deep, it was as though I was looking at a fleshless skull, though there was a feral glimmer in them. Needless to say, he was not prim and proper. How long have you been there? But man, I can't help laughing. You were completely in your own world there. What do you want, and why didn't you send a maid for me? Don't be such a hard ass. We ain't strangers, man. Why should family have to go through the maids to see you? That just ain't right, brother. Your door should always be open for family. Enough. I am not your family. We're bound by something even stronger than blood. By our family. Our Casca. Don't you ever bring up the Casca when you're Oh, scary. Come on now. What happened to you, little Jack? Oh shit, he is nicknamed Jack. Or the little boy who used to call me Uncle Tomigo. Don't you dare use that godforsaken name. Get the hell out of my sight. What in God's name are you doing here? Anki, you were right. Wait, have you played this game? Anki, did you spoil this game for me? The man hailed from the same country as Jack. A peculiar relationship. Though they were not blood related, he referred to Jack as family. They came from a sunny island in the Mediterranean Sea, a place of many unique customs. an entire underground society. Casca was a word that originated from and referred to those underworld families. It would be another 30 or so years before organizations like theirs received much public attention. At the time, they were not widely known. Just a short step into the future, and they would grow so powerful, the very mention of them would send a chill through the room. Hey now, no way to talk to a fellow Berzati. Ran the short was to become the next Campo Famiglia. We respect our brothers. That's how we operate. I could go home and say you threw me out of your house. How'd you like those rumors to spread? The soon-to-be Capo Famiglia wouldn't even listen to a little request. Very much doubt anything you said could damage my reputation. I ain't been exiled yet. As long as I'm still one of them, they won't ignore me. Well, that's some mighty fine whiskey mighty fine looking whiskey you got there. Don't mind if I do. Nothing here is for you to drink. Booze is my lifeblood, man. No love for a brother? You worthless leech. It sure won't be long before you find yourself in exile. If you're lucky to get off the hook with just exile, that is. Wait, did I skip something? How do we go back? Triangle? Circle? If I'm gonna go, I'd rather go tied up, tortured for days, covered in tiny little cuts from head to toe. Child could snap that screen. Here's... You sick bastard. You disgust me. Call me a carnal adventurer. I despise the mundane. The last thing I want to go out is like a wet fart. Is this what you came for? To waste my time with your insipid nonsense? Oh, hardly. Surely you have an idea what I'm here for. And how much I need. You damn maggot. A worthless leech, a sick bastard, and a damn maggot. What other names you got up your sleeve for me? You son of a... You honestly think this is how you ask for a favor? Whoops, excuse me. I beg of thee, O esteemed future Capo Famiglia. I'm bone broke, not even enough money to put bread on the table. Did you spare a little for a brother? You brought this on yourself, I'm sure. I hear more than enough stories about you, and hardly any of them pleasant. Drinking, gambling, debauchery. I mean, I had to be in the same Casca as you. You want to make money playing? You gotta learn the game first. Says the worm who played himself into oblivion. Now, do you honestly believe I'll give you anything? Oh, but you will. You've got no choice. Casca rules. You're required to help a fellow countryman. Especially considering how few of us are stranded on this colossal landmass. Don't even notice the money's missing. Ain't because you can't, but because you don't wanna. But Jack, being a tight ass does nothing for you. He come to you for help keeps your good name clean. That's the thing about being boss. You quietly keep little shits like me out of trouble, but the trouble don't come raining back on you. You do not seem to understand your place. Rather than lecturing me, you should be on your hands and knees begging and crying for my help. If that's what you want, I'll gladly comply. You kiss your boots while I'm at it. Don't even think about it. Know this, there won't be a second time. I will be reporting your conduct to the family back home. Look forward to seeing how they deal with you. Yes, have a little mercy, would you? Hey, is there a maid around? It doesn't matter who. How may I serve you, master? Get a single stack from the safe. Here's the key. Goes without saying, but don't touch anything else. Give the money to that man, as you're escorting him out the door. As you wish. Is that all you need? Yes, now get to it. Very well. Excuse me. Oh well. One looker of a maid you got there. There's something, I don't know, eerie, strange about her. I think he's gonna try hitting on you, Ghost. Fancy that. We agree on something. How long has she been working here? Couldn't tell you. As I recall, she came with the house. Is that the kind of woman you fancy? A gal you can't read will always be interesting. Is that so? And he mentions it. How old is that woman? I suppose it doesn't much matter. Oh yeah, Jack, one other thing I wanted to talk to you about. What is it this time? And if it's any more of your blather, I will shoot you dead where you stand. Now, no need for threats. This one's about your better half. What about my wife? Well, to put it simply, yeah. She came to me asking for advice, looking a little distressed. My wife asked you for advice? Yep. From the sounds of it, you're pretty rough on the little lady. It just ain't right, man. You managed to snag yourself abroad that pretty, you ought to treat her at least a little better, you hear? You're always good with a smile. You gotta make her show it to you every once in a while. Why would she come to you about that? Don't ask me. Maybe she ain't got no one else to talk to. And you know, for whatever it's worth, I'm part of the same Casca. I'm guessing she thought I'd get through to you easier? Really, you just have to put a little more thought how you act around her and she'll be smiling for you like always. Oh yeah, I've got just the thing. Women love this stuff. I'm sure she'll be thrilled. Is that perfume? Sounds like it's gonna do with perfume. Have you heard? Everyone's talking about it. I'm a big fan of stuff too. It smells great. Pretty girl smiles at you wearing something like this. Any man would be in love in an instant. You've never given her nothing fashionable before, have you? They look just like scented water, but you can't let that fool you. Go on, give it to her. You like a nice smelling lady too, don't you? A little bit of scent can give a different flavor to your nightmare excitement, or your nighttime excitement. Usually not. Vanilla. Well, I've said my piece, so I'll be taking my leave. I want to keep your maid waiting too long. Get on her bad side. Hold on, Tommy. Why would she... Make it last. That's all the advice your Uncle Tommy has for you. Ciao. Wait, Tommy. I could go after him. It would be a simple task to catch him, grab him by the neck, and make him tell me where he spoke with her and what she told him. But why? Why will my legs not move? Asking him for advice, fashionable perfume, her smiled. Looks good with a smile. She'll be smiling for you like always. It can't be. Nobody ever smiles around me. You're a dickhead. But she'll smile for him? Last night, when she was short of breath, having such a grand time wearing that perfume, getting ready to leave the house. Just who was that smile for? Damn it. Don't you think I'll let you run free any longer? Oh, this is like her story in the beginning. Flaxen-haired family with the poor girl that gets shut away. His eyebrows were furrowed, creating deep creases on his forehead. Several servants stood off to the side, watching their master attentively as he stomped past them down the hall. However, no one said a word to him. Had he not been preoccupied to attend to his countrymen, I likely could have prevented it. The look on his face would have made it obvious something bad was about to happen. That would serve only to further her misfortune. He was already in a less than ideal situation, and was perched on the edge of a hill, soon to begin rolling down into even worse territory. Jack? What's the matter? If you wanted to visit, you could have said something, rather than coming in without knocking. Is that really necessary? Pardon? Is there something you so desperately want to keep from me that I must knock before entering? I should have to let you know in advance that I'm coming? What are you... Well, is there? You went to talk to him behind my back, I'm told. What'd you tell him? You moaned to him about my behavior? Aw, that hurts. You told him I'm rough with you? You cry on his shoulder because I'm not nice enough? Him, of all people? Wait, Jack. You're mistaken. Let me... Silence. Not a word. Not a single godforsaken word. The only thing that comes out of your mouth is excuses. Lies and fabrication. You put on this sweet, innocent little girl act, but that's really what's going through your head. I should just rip that mask off your face. Stop, Jack. You look down on me. You're nobility. I'm just a nobody who married into it. No, stop. Let me go. When did it start? How long have you been seeing him? Who else have you been seeing? Covering yourself in fashionable perfume and smiling? Even though you never smile around me? Please, let me go. I can see it in your eyes. He's just a worthless commoner. Why would you think that? Why will you not listen to me? Silence. It's all your fault. Every last thing. I tell you not to leave the house, but you do. I'll counter. We should have a just smile counter. I tell you to do as I say, but you ignore me. Every last thing you do drives me mad. I don't have the time right now to deal with this, to rack my mind over you, over a woman. I don't have the time for it. Why do you not do as I say? Do you not have enough already, huh? Will you not be satisfied until you take even my arms and legs? You give me money, clothing, everything. You have an incredible life. Look around you. That life of luxury you and your parents wanted, it's right here. You have it. What more could you possibly want? Why do you insist on being unfaithful? Unfaithful? You think what I'm doing is unfaithful to you? How should I describe it? You leave your room despite me ordering you not to. Don't think I don't know. When you came to the den the other day, you had your eyes on the other men. I did not. I had no such inclination. Enough. Not another word from you. I have no interest in your excuses. If that's how you're going to act, then say goodbye to your freedom. You're forbidden from leaving the mansion, or your room for that matter, or even speaking to the servants. I know what I'll do. I'll make you a new room. Too many people come in and out of this one. They'll be somewhere quieter, out of the way. You like the garden. How would I put you in there? If you leave that room without permission, this time, I'll kill you. What was this way beyond even just jealousy? Why? Why would you not listen to me? It's more inferiority. Jack, the master of the house, likely loved the white-haired girl. That's what I saw in their exchange. Normally, love is supposed to be sweet, warm, wonderful emotion. It makes you care for, value that person even more than yourself. It was the exact opposite for him. I never knew that love could be such a painful thing. How did his love end up this so twisted? What did he expect to happen by confining and abusing the woman he loved? Perhaps he was conscious of that. Be human is to sometimes find oneself driven by uncontrollable internal impulses. A few days later, Jack dragged the white-haired girl from her chamber and led her outside. The garden she had once loved was now a thing of the past. From a dreary space, nary a rose in sight, and being taken there did not improve her mood, only saddened her further. The cold, gray piles of metal freckling, oh my god. The cold, gray piles of metal freckling the barren earth seemed to mock her. Her husband led her, the lady of the house, to a shed that had been repurposed into a Spartan living area. She begged and pleaded, but Jack would not have it. He shoved her into the sad little shack and locked the door. Oh, so it is like the little story. What a charming game. How did things end up this way? Why? All I wanted was to go back to the way things used to be. For us to be able to smile around each other. It had been several days since Jack had locked her in the shed, and her day-to-day life was growing more arduous. She was under constant surveillance. The door was only unlocked to deliver meals 3 times a day. Thank you. And despite what an unfortunate situation their employer's wife found herself in, the maids chattered and gossiped and giggled freely. Not even in the shadows, out of her presence, the tactless young maid servants whispered directly to the white girl when they brought her meals. "You, madam, caged away like cattle." I almost hear the sound of cracks forming in her heart. Imagine she had gotten to the point where she was having difficulty merely holding herself together. She had done nothing wrong, and yet she was forced to live this life of insults and mockery, of ridicule. The only reason her tenuously held together spirit did not completely shatter was because she still had her one and only ally. The maid Maria volunteered to attend to the white-haired girl. Maria took over the duty of delivering her 3 meals, meaning the other maids stopped coming by. And that relieved the white-haired girl's mental and emotional stress considerably. Maria became the sole conversation partner, her sole companion. She did not leave as soon as meals were finished, instead remaining in the shed with the white-haired girl for some time. So, madam, how about a funny story? A I flubbed up pretty hard the other day. You want to hear about it? A couple days back, I didn't get enough sleep the previous night, right? I'm helping out in the kitchen, half awake, playing up some food. When I go to bring it out to the guests, my heart about leaps out of my mouth. Guess why? What I thought was a plate was actually an ashtray, and I was sweating like a pig. The guests didn't seem to notice, but the other maids are pale as ghosts the entire time. About everyone had themselves a case of the vapors. Got quite the tongue lashing at cleanup. Pretty funny, huh? Oh, did you? Sounds like it was a pretty bad day. Yeah. Hey, madam? I know there's not much point in telling you to cheer up right now, but I'm sure he won't keep you locked up forever. He's just a bit crabby for now. It'll be alright. Although I guess this is a bit drastic for a temper tantrum. I'm sorry, madam. If only I had pushed him a bit harder, if only I had a little more influence, you might not be in this situation. I thought I could be of some help. But I guess I'm not doing a great job of that. Of course not, Maria. You absolutely are. Just your being here takes a great weight off my shoulders. Still though, I feel so worthless. Because I'm just a maid, I can't set you free. It's okay. I'm used to being imprisoned. What do you mean you're used to it? You never locked your door before. You're right. Not sure why, but I feel as though I have been in a similar predicament before, lacking freedom and contact with others for a long stretch of time. I'm sure it's simply the exhaustion getting to you, madame. No one should ever be used to living like this. Yes, I agree, and I pray things go back to the way they were soon. Has getting mad at him never crossed your mind? Getting mad? Hey, you know, when he yells, you yell back. Let him know he's in the wrong. The story of the... I'm thinking, you know? You yell back. Let him know he's in the wrong. Never considered doing that? I guess you're not one to get angry, madam. Which would mean you're a better fit for the Holy Mother than me. Oh no, I do sometimes want to get angry. To tell you the truth, it's almost always going through my mind how, if I did raise my voice, perhaps he would listen to what I have to say. When I'm standing there in front of him and he starts shouting at me, I freeze up and I'm not saying a word. I'm just such a pitiful woman. Everything about me. When I need to speak up most, to stand up for myself, I cannot. Don't look so down. It's not a bad thing. It's just got you in a little bit of a pickle right now. But I'll clear everything up with him, you hear me? In my mind, your modesty is a virtue. And the more I think about it, I can't even imagine you screaming. I like you better the way you are, reserved and ladylike. Leave all the yelling to me. Do whatever I can to help you, madam. Were you able to clear up his confusion about the night when we were dancing? Oh, about that. Sorry, he just wouldn't hear it. I see. I'm not throwing in the towel. I'll keep trying as long as it takes. So... Say, Maria, could I perhaps ask another favor? Huh? Yeah, sure, let me have it. I would like to write him a letter. A letter to someone who lives in the same house? I mean, these are kind of weird circumstances, right? Yes. As things stand, I cannot simply go visit him on a whim, and feel as though I could calmly express on paper things I am not able to say to him face to face. I suspect I might have more luck that way. I also believe he'd be more likely to maintain his composure reading my thoughts in a letter than hearing them from my mouth. With it, I can clear up all the confusion, and things can go back to the way they were. A letter, huh? Interesting. Write the letter, which I would like you to deliver to him. May I ask that of you? Absolutely, not a problem. It just looks like there's a wad of spit on this one. You didn't even write anything. Thank you, Maria. You are the only person I can count on, and I mean that. What about Ghost Maid? Why? How did this happen? Why would she betray me? I wanted to give her a decently happy life. I didn't want to get violent with her. And when I saw her face, when I heard what she had to say, I couldn't restrain myself. I guess what it comes down to is that no matter how you dress it up, I am still a Berzati. There was never any way for this bloodline to give that girl happiness. God damn it. I'm fretting over this nonsense. I'm supposed to be the future head? an illusion. But they're dancing, really are, and they look like they're having a wonderful time. Are you sure it's an illusion and not something else? To me, it does not seem to be. I cannot see it as anything but two tiny people dancing. It's how it works. Reach out your hand and try to grab them. You won't be able to. Ah, you're right. Shame. I didn't think you would actually would. That's the most precious. Yeah. They look as though they're dancing atop my palm. It's frightening how much innocence rests within those hands. It's as if they've been completely cut off from all the world's filth. My hands, however, are soaked in blood. Dobes onky. Got you. I fear that bringing her into my world may taint her. Am I capable of protecting this woman's purity? Thank you for letting me know. You're doing a fucking horrible job so far, buddy. And yet, as I watched her so joyously playing, I felt as though I had gotten close to her. I was the one being a child that day. Jack, it's me, Maria. Is it alright if I come in? Maria. It's fine, come in. Alrighty. And we're gonna find out what Maria has to say after this quick commercial break. I'll be back in a moment. Grab myself some more drinks. Oh yeah. Alright, let's get back into this. Right down Ninja Gaiden. Actually, I think we listened to that song. I'll prep up Donkey King next. Is this not on mute? It's just quiet. Color me surprised. I didn't think you'd let me in. Have I ever denied you access to my room? Nope, but you've been looking pretty glum lately. I've never exactly been a cheery man. True enough. I know you told me before not to talk about your wife, but I'm going to stick my nose where it doesn't belong today. There's been a lot of chatter among the maids lately about you getting rough with her. I mean, you've got the poor thing locked up in a shed outside. You're not leaving the best impression on anyone. You here to box my ears? I don't know, 50-50? The other half is, I'm concerned about you. I know you're not the kind of man to threaten someone without a good reason. You're not. I thought you were friends with her. I am. And it hurts seeing her in so much pain. Then why has that not changed the way you act around me? I think you'd be scorning me with the rest of the maids. Oh, I see how it is. You don't trust me. We've known each other for so long. This isn't a question on whose side I'm on. You're in pain too, I can see that. You've always bottled things up, kept them hidden. You're too proud to rely on others. Are you being jealous at this time? Again, Ildan? Because of your winking abilities? You're too proud to rely on others. You should probably vent to someone before it reaches the point where you can when you no longer can. Hey Jack. Do you remember the promise you made a while back? How far back? Back when you were still shorter than me. You were 14 and I was 12. I'll report you. What happened? He's having a seizure. I had to leave town and you came to see me off. But frankly, I didn't think you'd come. I was surprised even if I didn't show it. Oh, we're gonna see baby Maria? Baby Jack? Jack? Where's your dad? Or are you here alone? He didn't even tell me. There's no reason you have to leave town. My old man says the Campanellas have more power. I should be the one leaving. It's not that simple. Grown-ups have a lot to consider. Don't give me that look, Jack. We were kids, but we both kind of started to catch on to the situation with our families and to the bonds that land held on us. Although we didn't know any details at the time. My grandpa owned all the land the city was built on, but he was a very conservative man. He tried to spread his influence, instead opting to fortify what he already had. I don't know exactly when it first started, but organizations were used to administrate cities. When we were kids, my dad was the Campo Familia, and my grandfather his consigliere? But just because he was an advisor didn't mean he was powerless. While my dad made the decisions, my grandfather was the only one allowed to fight him on them. Your father was a capodicinia that served under my dad. He wasn't especially happy about it. My parents' quarreling doesn't affect their kids, or at least that's what I thought at the time, and what you probably thought too. But there was still a chance we would be caught in the crossfire, so my dad decided to send me and my mom away. Off the island to the north were some more prosperous areas. He thought that by sending us there, we could live our lives clean, regardless of where we came from. There's no changing what's in your blood, though. You could have told me too. Or were you planning on leaving without saying anything? No, it was just all decided so quickly. Why do you sound so accepting? Adults have a lot to consider. Bet they do. You could at least let them know you're opposed to it, Maria. No, your tail went straight between your legs as soon as you were told. You just gave up and accepted it straight away. I thought you were better than that. You think I don't know that? But I'll just be in my dad's way if I stay. I'm a kid, a girl. I wouldn't be of any help if something happened. I don't want to need someone to protect me. I've never once thought of you as a girl. You know, that's mean. Oh geez. Thanks, Jack. You're getting me all mushy too. If anyone should be sad here, it's me. I am not sad. Oh really? You sure you're not actually torn that I won't be around anymore? You're a huge crybaby after all, Jack. Hey, when have I ever cried? And don't call me that. I made you mad. Burnt fuse as ever, I see. Get Orn to keep your head. You're a man, an heir to the Berzati family. Don't you lecture me. So pig-headed. You could at least listen to me once
I'll fight all you
before
bitches
I'm
today.
gone. Hey Maria, got a little time to spare? Yeah, sure, but not much. The carriage is going to be here soon. You have enough for a trip to the hill and back? Yeah, I should have time for that. Because of our families, we weren't really able to get along with the other kids in the city. We played a lot on top of the hill. In kind of like our little secret lair. There was an abandoned house up there. I guess an old farmhouse or something. Kids love that sort of thing, you know? We called it Casa Nostra, our home, and we pretended it was actually ours. We drew circles on the wall in chalk and used it for target practice. We brought up a bale of straw and used it to make makeshift beds. When either of us got into fights with our parents, we'd stay up the night here instead of home. In retrospect, I'm sure they knew where we were going and just let us do our thing. Oh yeah, there was this one time we were playing, a huge storm rolled in, trapping us up there. The wind wasn't just howling, it was screaming bloody murder. It was blowing so hard I thought the house might fly away. I recalled you were crying that night. Hey Nero, you were here to see me off too? Ah, there you go, waggling your tail with that dumb look on your face. You have no idea what's going on, do you? It wasn't just the two of us who made Casa Nostra our home base, though. There was one more, a stray black dog. Sure, it didn't have actually black fur, though. It was just really, really dirty. Of course he didn't. It was a stupid animal. Don't talk about him like that. He's one of us. What are you planning to do about Nero? Just leave him here? Or leave him behind? Nothing else I can do. Can't bring a dog in the carriage. Besides, you're here, so it'll be fine. You take care of Nero, alright? He doesn't like me. You're the only one who can take care of him. Maybe so, but I'm not coming back. We'll starve to death if we don't figure something out. He's a puny runt. I doubt he could win in a fight for scraps. Come on, do it for me. You said you won't be coming back. Did you mean that? You're absolutely never returning to this town? There's no telling what may or may not happen, so it's best not to get your hopes up. Better that than the pain of getting let down. Oh well, been quite the cynic, huh? If I'd been born into a more normal family, be in my room in a pile of dolls right about now, my head in the clouds. I can't imagine you doing that, nor do I think that's normal. Well said. Ah, hey, stop that, Nero. Quit licking me. It tickles and you reek. Maria? What is it? Back. I don't care if you don't know when it'll be. Just don't say you'll never return. No one knows how things are going to end up. Maybe my old man will gain more power, or maybe yours will. If things continue as they are, it'll be your old man. And down the line, I'll work in the service of the Campanelli family. That's just fine by me. Even if it's not the future that lies ahead, I promise I'll make a place for you. But Maria? Question? You have a crush on me? What? Kidding, I'm just kidding. No need for conniption, Fit. I was just playing around. Here I am, trying to have a serious conversation, and then you... Listen to me. I don't have any of those, those kinds of feelings for you. I consider you a lifelong friend, my one and only friend. That's why I came to see you off, and that's why I'm telling you this now. Whether you're a girl or a boy is irrelevant. Friendship lasts much longer than something so fanciful as romance. Am I wrong? Don't laugh, damn it. It's humiliating. I'm not laughing at you. I'm laughing because I agree entirely. Yeah, we've always been on the same page, Jack. Maybe we did fight a lot, but there wasn't one we didn't get through. No one else understood just how lonely it was, wearing a mask for all the other kids, trying to fit into their happy little circle. We couldn't afford to be found out after all. Neither of us had any real allies. Good for each other, of course. Nope. I'm glad I got the chance to play with you. If you hadn't been there, I wouldn't have bothered caring for Nero either. It was too funny watching him chase you around. You're a sick girl, Maria. Oh hey, Jack, this place will still be Casa Nostra even after I leave, right? You won't do anything to it, will you? Of course not. This is our home. This was always the plan. Right. Thanks. But You being all nice is kind of creepy, Jack. Not gonna start snowing, is it? How rude. Well, if you're gonna be like that, I'm not sure I want to give it to you. Huh? Give what? A present? Should have said so sooner. Gimme, gimme. You don't have a shred of tact, do you? What's the matter? Come on, what'd you bring? Let me have it, soldier. Oh, Maria. It was a temporary parting gift. You've been wanting one of these for a while. Is that a cartridge? From a Colt Navy? Oh wait, did you swipe it? I'll probably catch hell for it too. This is amazing. I always wanted to get my hands on the real thing. This is from the one hanging up in your house, isn't it? The one your dad was bragging about. They just started selling them this year, and it's ridiculously hard to get your hands on, so I hear. Guns from the New World or something else, alright. Just imagine the moment the hammer comes crashing down the back of this sends chills down my spine. Are you sure you're a girl going crazy over a bullet cartridge? What's the big deal? I like what I like. You'll get in trouble if you don't put this back though, won't you? Don't worry, I'll return it when you return. And I won't tell anyone else I gave it to you. Okay. I guess I'll take you up on that then. Thanks, Jack. It'll be my treasure. This goes without saying, but don't you lose it. I'm giving these to you as a symbol of our friendship. No matter how far apart we may be, or how much time may pass, or how things play out with our families, we'll always be friends. That cartridge symbolizes that promise. It's a promise, Jack. Our families may outwardly hate each other. I'll always be your friend. I'll always be on your side. And don't you ever go back on those words. I swear upon this glorious cartridge, this historic land, and the names of my ancestors, I shall not make myself a liar. I trust you, Maria. We'll meet again. It may be many years from now, but that won't change a thing. Our friendship will never fade. I'm still not really liking Jack, sorry buddy. God, you were adorable back then, and short to boot. Now you've hardened so much. I was flabbergasted when I next saw you. Dressed all fancy from head to toe. You've become quite the smug little bastard, I'd thought. But you aren't that little kid anymore. You have quite the memory. Well, yeah, I don't forget my promises. I never forget I said I'd always be on your side. The question is, did you remember? I did. I remember every word you said that day. And as I said, I left Costa Nostra as it was. It was quite some distance away now. Imagine if I went back and did a little work on it, we could have it looking just like old times. And Nero? About a year after you left, he suddenly disappeared. Just a record, I did take care of him as you told me to. I'm guessing he got into a fight with another stray or something. I searched, but I could never find him. Ah well, it has been more than a decade. Everything's going to be exactly the same. You, however, haven't changed a bit from the girl you were all those years ago. Neither have you. Sure, you seem different on the outside, but at your core, I believe you haven't changed at all. Still the same old Jack. Did you not call me that? I have changed quite a bit, unlike you, and I'm well aware of it. Hey, Jack. Consider me supportive of everything you could have said. Of course you are. You're constantly supporting me, past and present. You are proof of the existence of a kind of friendship that can transcend gender, blood, and any other such distinction. You know, it's honestly kind of bizarre seeing you without a stick up your ass. Wow, harsh words. Come on now, hear me out. You almost had me blushing there. Anyways, before you put that stick back up there, tell me something. Am I still your only ally?
Fight all you bitches today.
I'd say. You are. Of everyone in this mansion, I'm the only one? Yes. If she would at least have a little more... The madam? I didn't actually intend to treat her like that. Believe me, Jack, I know. I mean, from a girl's perspective, what you did was pretty awful. But hey, I'm not a girl, according to you anyway. I'll always be on your side no matter what. I feel as though I'm being consoled. Huh? That's what I was going for. Which I've never opened up to. Hey, probably not the best time to bring this up, but I have a letter. A letter? Written by the madam. Here. A letter from my wife? Let me see it. What the hell am I reading? I was considering keeping it a secret, but having seen it, I thought hiding from you might only hurt you more, so it was best to show you. Who is
Well,
this?
then don't get your
Who's
fingers
this
all
letter
in the
for?
air. Duh.
It's as if, but that can't. I love you? Who's she writing to? I don't know this man. Take a deep breath, Jack, and listen to me. The madam is having an affair. I knew she was a bitch. Everyone is shitty in this chapter. Ah. I haven't changed a bit. If you seriously believe that, I got news for you, pal. Anyone who acts exactly the same as they did in the past is doing just that, acting. Much like I do around you. Or how about people who can't wink at all? Huh, Ildan? Our friendship will never change? What a fucking joke. You picked the wrong girl to put your trust in. They called you astute? You taste the fucking irony? Well, that just makes things easier for me. But my god, it's suffocating playing the good girl. That stupidly cheerful little ray of sunshine, Maria. It's sickening. On the other hand, the payoff is fantastic. I can't stop. God, watching him lose his cool was incredible. My side hurts just thinking about it. You're telling me she wrote this? Who else could have written it? It's in her handwriting. Why must she continue to betray me? Has she not taken enough already? What else could she possibly want from me? You were the chosen one! I told her to stay away from my gatherings. I had the rose garden torn up, and yet still, she finds other men. I warned her, I told her it would happen again. That if she betrayed me one more time, I'd kill her. Jack. I don't mind, Maria. I have to talk to her. Ask her what this letter's about. Who is this man? And depending on how she answers... Hold it, Jack. Calm down. Now, it's how am I supposed to stay calm right now? Listen to me. Relax. That always works, by the way. You try to talk to her right now, and you aren't going to get anywhere. You're aware just how frenzied you are, aren't you? Do you think she's going to tell you the truth even if you do manage to ask her? Of course not. She may look all prim and proper, but that's not the real her. I don't think she's a bad person, but... Not a bad person. The woman who wrote this letter to another man, she crossed the line, you hear me? I agree with you there. She's gone too far with this letter. But remember, she's your wife and the daughter of a noble. You know exactly what will happen if you lose control and do something to her. It's not going to look good for you. She may be nobility, but I have the Casca. We have our own way of taking care of these kinds of problems. Still, it's plain as day, it'll only make a bigger mess. No one else knows about this yet. Are you telling me to act like nothing's happening? When she's so blatantly disrespecting me? Jack, would you let me take care of it? I'm friends with the madam, you know that. So listen to me. I'll make sure it gets through to her. It's how much you care about her. I couldn't ask you, it would be disgraceful. It's nothing to be ashamed of. Did I tell you, I'm on your side and you're on mine. We're in this together. You can ask me things you couldn't ask others to do. I have tight lips. Ask anything you ask, I'll keep absolutely under wraps. Damn it. You're right. Yes, you're right. I'm well aware that I always lose myself in her presence. If I try talking to her now, I probably will do something rash, yes. I'll make everything work, make sure everything works out. Got it? You and the man can go back to the way things used to be. You don't have to suffer anymore. I'll take care of it. I'm the only one who understands your pain. I'm the only one who can help you out of it. Maria. Oh, don't make that face, Jack. Thank you, Maria. Please let her know, even if she is seeing other men, and even if she does silently mock me for not being of noble blood, that I still love her. I don't want to raise my hand against her. You love her? That's a riot. You're too busy chasing your stacks of paper. You don't have what it takes to truly love a woman. I will say, though, I was surprised you lost your head that badly. Quite the little crush you've got on her. You could just sit down and talk to her like a rational human being, and presto, all your problems would have been solved. You can't imagine that, which is why you're in this predicament. Once you're convinced of something, Jack, you never let it go. and she's too timid to speak up for herself. Sorry, madam. I got nothing against you. I just didn't expect things to go quite this well. There's no stopping now. Not when I got this much momentum. Also, watching a pretty girl like you break down gives me goosebumps. You're still convinced I'm the only person you can trust. Oh, she is made of bitch. How did he react to the letter? Well, yeah, about that. Would he not take it? Oh, he took it, just, don't feel too bad about this, madam. He said he's too busy with work, and tossed the letter aside. I told him to make sure he writes you a reply, but he hasn't gotten around to it at all. I see. That's a shame. It kills me to see you like this, madam. I don't get why he has to be so heartless. Having taken a little time out of his day to read the letter you poured your soul into writing. It's unacceptable. I'm sure he really is busy. He did not throw it away though, did he? I imagine he means to read it when he has more time. Madam, after everything he's done to you, you still think he means well? I have faith. My timing was poor, that's all. I believe in him. I believe that the day will come when he gives me his attention again, as he did before. Madam. So could I ask you to believe with me, Maria? To have faith that he will once more show me his love, and that mine will reach him? Something tells me that it will all work out if you pray for it. Yeah, okay. If you're fine with me praying, I'll pray. Wink, wink. I'll get down on my knees for you, madam. I'll have faith. Thank you. I'd like to write another letter. When it's complete, could I ask you to deliver it to him? I'll give him as many as you want. As many as it takes you to get through to him. You really ought to learn not to be so trusting, madam. Take a real close look, and you'll see exactly who it was that ground your happy little life into dust. Thank you, Maria? I'm the reincarnation of the Mother of God. I don't think she's a good person. Oh God, I can't hold back the laughter. This is a stage of my own creation. We didn't have enough actors, so the playwright had to take on a role herself. It only adds to the excitement. Yes, this is all my masterpiece. You're just ignorant puppets dancing to my tune. From the first shot to the last, blind to whose finger is sitting on the trigger. Listen to me, Jack. Try to keep your head. I saw the madam meeting with another man behind your back. You know the arch in the rose garden? Farside's out of sight from the mansion, making it a perfect place to hide. I saw her back there. From the looks of it, the madam is having her meetings with one of the men who comes to your business gathering. And they don't act like they're just friends. But just to be clear, I don't have any solid proof. So it'd be best if you didn't mention this to her yet. You don't want to start throwing around accusations only to find out too late. It was all a big misunderstanding. I'll get to the bottom of it, so you... I think the madam might have her eyes on several men. Being a woman, you know, I can tell these things. He's given them suggestive looks, but to whom I can't pinpoint. A lot of people come in and out of this house after all. What? You want to keep her from leaving her room? I'm thinking she's trying to get back at him. It has nothing to do with... Like her mom might have died when they both went on their trip. That might be for the best. With so much going well, it makes me think even God's on my side. They could just talk it over with one another. But they won't, and they're deeper and deeper in shit for it. You're the only one I can trust, Maria. And the timing that night, my God, it was perfect. Hey, Jack. I could just be misreading her, but something seems off about the madam. Like she's been on edge or something. I tried to egg her into revealing what's going on, and she let slip that she might be going out somewhere tonight. She's not going with you, is she? You're going out to survey a construction site today, right? I'd suggest you get that taken care of quickly. A dance at this time of night? And since it's so late, no loud music. All you get is a little whistling courtesy of me. But this room is too small for him. We'll use the Great Hall. Wouldn't that put us in everyone else's way? He would probably complain about the noise too. No need to worry. Jack's out inspecting some factory or something today. After that, he's got a meeting, so he'll be staying the night elsewhere. I thought you would not be back until tomorrow, and how would you know that? Oh, forget that. Is my staying the night Very jealous. You're just waiting for this opportunity, weren't you? What would I possibly want you out of the house for? I'm sure you know better than anyone. What is that smell? Perfume? When did you get perfume? And I have to say, you seem to be having quite the time. Look at you. You're out of breath, right as a beet. You made the right decision coming back. Where the hell were you going? Sorry, this is all my fault. If I didn't ask you to dance, and bringing the perfume only made things worse. No, you need not feel bad about anything, Maria. Everything you did was with my best interests at heart. You didn't even suspect me in the slightest. Able to put that perfume to great use. That money-sucking leech Tommy showed up at the perfect time too. Pretty sure that's what Jack started getting I'm pretty sure that's when Jack started getting actively violent. A jealous man is a wonderful thing, always imagining the worst and making matters worse than for it. Don't make me reread that whole thing too. Is that you, Tommy? It's been so long. What brings you here? Oh, look at who it is. Little Miss Campanelli. There's a surprising. Expect to see you at this side of the Great Blue. Oh, you know, I've been giving Jack a hand. Well, color me impressed. After what happened, I would have thought you would have done nothing to do with him. Hold on. More water. That was between our parents. Expect anything to do with it. Sorry. Well, it would sure be nice for all you younger generation to go through life without nothing to spark that kind of powder keg. Now that's my place to talk. No need to worry about yourself about any of that. What brings you here, Tommy? I'm a little, you know how it is. Having a bit of trouble staying afloat. Ah, I see. So you're here to beg for offering. Pretty shameless, Tommy. No point in having shame if it ain't making money. Toss that with the chamber pot. Oh, might make things easier if I just quit being human altogether. Are you that hard for cash? Unfortunately, numbers are supposed to go up, but for some reason they end up going down instead. Might be best if you quit the gambling habit. Now, that's like telling me to go off myself. Oh, I bet. So say, Tommy. If I saw that bit. Maybe I could pitch in a bit too. Oh, you mean it? That'd be a huge help. There's seriously not a scrap of shame in you. However, in exchange, I'd like you to do something for me. Someone whose face needs to be visited from my fists? Depending on the number, I could also probably cut him into chunks and toss him into the ocean. Well, keep it clean. I'm asking you to do anything like that. What is it then? Something a lowlife me can do? It'll be easy. That's nothing bad either. You're gonna go talk to Jack, aren't you? Well, there's something I'd like you to tell him while you're at it. You know he's married, right? He gets pretty nasty with his wife, though. That's so? Sounds like she's got it rough. She does, and she's religiously devoted to him, too. I've been trying to nudge things in the right direction to get her back on good terms with him, but I haven't had much luck. Think that's something the two of them should work through? Oh, yes, but it's reached the point where I can't bear to sit back and watch anymore. I don't like seeing the two of them in pain. I want to do something for them. How noble. You're devoted to yourself, little lady. I'm not important right now. Just doing the right thing. But the thing is, Jack won't hear a word of it. I figured maybe you, being a man, might be able to get through to him a little better than me. But it wasn't to me either, to be honest. Come on, he used to be real close, though. I doubt he hates you. I don't be so sure about that. Anywho, talking's something anyone can do. So what do you want me to tell him? I need to give him a bit of scolding. Tell him the madam came to you asking for advice and that she accidentally let slip that the way he treats her day-to-day causes her grief. I've never met his wife of his before, you know. It works even better that way. She's so downtrodden she can't talk to anyone about it, and she thought maybe you, being family, might be able to help. She's never met you, but she's still latched on to the ray of hope. I'm sure when Jack finds out she brought it up with family, he'll know she can't keep mistreating her. Things like this, they hit home harder when they come from someone on the outside. You make a decent point. Just remember, little lady, all I can do is bring it up with him. I can't guarantee it'll change anything. That's all I need you to do. Thanks a bunch, Tommy. Alright, one more thing. This is some perfume that's grown quite popular recently. Ask him to give it to the madam as a gift. If he won't take it, you keep it. Give it to another woman. Sell it, whatever you want. Perfume, eh? Very thoughtful of you. Women do like getting gifts like that. Yes, we do. If Big Bad Jack gives her some of that, they'll be lovebirds again before you know it. I'm sure of it. I never thought the day had come when I got to play Cupid.
Shoot the old lady with a paralysis dart.
Now I'm starting to get kind of excited about this. Stay focused, Tommy, and thanks. Also, you didn't hear any of this from me. I'm fine just pulling the strings from the shadows. Their relationship's in complete shambles, and Jack still insists he fucking loves her? And the madam says she still believes in him? Seriously, how stupid can you be? Poor Jack. Poor madam. Now then, let's see where this boulder rolls to next. Now fire keeps rolling. Actually, I'll be nudging it all along its way. I think Maria's just misunderstood because after all, play lives or dies by the director's hands. Maybe they were just friends, like this is all a joke, haha, funny. Did they have pranked back then? When did prank come out? Was it in the 1700s? This is the Lost Letters chapter. Master? Master? Are you shocked? You instead lament this development. I was deeply sorrowful. Though to a lesser degree about Maria's true intentions and more my shameful inability to recognize her... I don't know how to pronounce that. Machinations? At the time, I too believed that Maria was the white-haired girl's one and only ally. But I don't know. I think it's just a misunderstanding. It was not until everything had drawn to a close I discovered the truth. Then I know now how the tale ends, you say. Yes, that is correct. Well aware that it was not the case. I told you the story in a way that suggested she was on the white-haired girl's side. Oh my, I wonder if that constitutes lying to you, Master. I merely wanted to present the events to you in order, starting from the beginning, when Maria's ill intentions were still veiled in shadow. I wanted you to know the same feeling of consternation I had experienced. The white-haired girl continued to write letter after letter. They were all addressed to her dear husband, detailing her ever-persistent love for him, and her desire for the relationship to return to what it had once been. My beloved, I am sure your hands are quite full right now. That is fine, it does not change my love for you. Do you remember the day we went out together? It was perhaps the most wonderful day of my life. I had a truly incredible time. I still treasure the gift you gave to me. It is the one and only present I have ever received from you. Reminds me, Maria tried to teach you how to dance. I doubt I will ever progress beyond being laughably bad, though. It would be nice if someday you and I could dance together. Perhaps when you have a little more respite from work, we could go out again. Maybe take a carriage somewhere a little further away. We could dine at a restaurant more to your liking. Although I think the cuisine at the other restaurant was exquisite, personally. I'm so hungry. Do I perhaps have an unrefined palate? We altered the letters before delivering them, however. You changed the addresses from Jack to another man. She would cut away the top of the page with Jack's name on it, and in the space below write a different name. I could not have mimicked the white-haired girl's writing for the length of a full length of a letter. Maria could make a single name look adequately similar. And it would, after all, be quite difficult to notice minor discrepancies in such a small quantity of text. Again? Another letter? Why does she keep writing these? In Jack's eyes, the modified letters looked like professions of love for another man. The more she inscribed her feelings for Jack, the greater the turmoil grew within his heart. Even though her love was directed towards him, I can't believe what I'm reading. Restaurant more to your liking? I knew it. You have been going out with other men. all the while pretending to be chaste in my presence. Still treasure the gift you gave to me? For God's sake. You have to be fucking kidding. But I've ensured she can't leave that room. She'll never see this man again. In time she'll let go, and so will he. Listen to me, resigning myself to hope that everything will fix itself. I end up like this. Pitiful man I've become. He was still a dickhead in the beginning, though. I don't understand. Like, unless there was other stuff they didn't mention. On the surface, Maria acted quite heartbroken at the sight of their suffering. Maybe they just never mentioned that, like, year leading up, Maria was being a jackass. When she returned to her room, the walls echoed with her cackles. She derived a great deal of entertainment from their squirming. The more they writhed in anguish, the deeper her satisfaction grew. He's not doing great for being perceptive. And both the white-haired girl and Jack continued to place their confidence in Maria, the one responsible for everything. The white-haired girl had never possessed a sense of distrust, and so she took everything Maria said as truth, continuing in her agony to write Jack letters. Letter after letter after letter. My beloved, are you still tied up with your work? It has been some time since we last saw one another, so I know not what you have been doing of late. Aw, that is the story from the beginning. How she kept sending letters and no one ever came. It has been some time since we last saw one another. Although he did write letters back, but maybe not quite exactly the same. So I know not what you have been doing of late. I only hope you remain in good health. I would, if possible, prefer to tell you everything in person, but I do not have the courage, so these letters are my only option. Am I adequately expressing my feelings, my love for you? If you have the time, I would appreciate a response. You're never going to get a response, though. Not as long as I'm intercepting them. There's no way I'm allowing these or your love to get to him. I could just stop reading them. It would certainly make things easier. But if I don't, my imagination will run wild, fantasizing about her writing to this other man, and what she might be putting in her correspondence. I'd be better off knowing the truth than torturing myself with fantasy. It's the better option. Jack accepted every letter Maria delivered without fail. He would merely nod as he accepted it, his face contorted in discomfort, and then pore over the text when he was alone. We did not want her to see his heart sinking into darkness. Had he put his trust in his wife rather than Maria, he would have almost certainly been able to realize the letters were directed at him, despite the altered recipient name. Everything she wrote about concerned him, after all. How could someone who had lived an as isolated a life as her have so many identical experiences with two distinct men? Why could he not find in himself to trust her? Perhaps doubting her was simply easier. If you were in his position, would you trust her? Would you maintain faith in her, the woman who had waited so long? Would you believe the feelings she professed for you were genuine? She continued writing letters day after day, week after week, without hiatus. He had, by and large, run out of things to say, but that did not end to her letter writing. She simply repeated what she had written before. Nevertheless, they did not see one another in person. The white-haired girl, forbidden to leave her shed, could only wait for her husband to pay her a visit. My beloved, there's a little bit of fog out today. Weather like this reminds me of my home country. I was born on an island perpetually covered in a thick fog. I'm not saying I would like to return, but thinking about it does make me rather homesick. Yeah, I really love my shed. Does that happen to you? That reminds me, aside from the one time, you have not told me much of your homeland. It'd be nice if we could pay it a visit together sometime. Speaking of which, before I left, an exhibition of some sort was held there. I was unable to attend, but perhaps you had the chance when it was near you? I imagine you would have without your interest in new technology. Next time you have a chance, I would like to hear what they had on display. An exhibition? Oh, that's right, there was one. It was a year ago. It had quite a bit of attention since it was supposed to be held in Paris. I was busy preparing for our wedding. I had no time to attend the exhibition. While I was doing that, giving you, a woman I had never met before, my full attention, you were giving yours to a different man? Has this been going on for that long? Had he simply stepped up and taken action, he could have put an end to the stream of letters, each of which gave rise to further misunderstanding. He needed merely ask the white-haired girl in person to whom the letters were addressed, whether that they described were true, and the twisted threads of his confusion would have all been unraveled. But he made no such effort, relying instead on Maria to serve as his intermediary. I feel as though I have now as long come to understand just what kind of man Jack was. While he had a great deal of pride in his capabilities, he had far less confidence in himself as a person. If he had faith in himself, perhaps he could have put faith in his wife as well. He sounds hideous. Had his pride not been so twisted, perhaps he would not have been so afraid of being hurt. Indeed, he was afraid. Afraid of being rejected by her, afraid to face a reality where his beloved partner scorned him, where the woman he loved laughed at him disdainfully, where she and countless others mocked him. The thought of it paralyzed him. The environment in which he had been raised played a significant part in his state of mind, I expect. Occasionally, the name on the letter would change. Maria was making the white-haired girl out to be having affairs with multiple other men. You can never do such a thing, of course. But Jack, thinking Maria to be his only ally, believed everything she said. If I could only figure out who this man is, and where he resides, I could make him tell me every last detail about his relations with my wife. But what if... It scared the shit out of me for some reason. The information went public as a result. If news of her infidelity spread, or to reach the Casca. The fate of the Berzadas is in your hands, son. I'm tired or hungry or out of breath. Maybe I'm lightheaded from not taking enough breaths. Okay, we're good. There's a limit to what we can accomplish on this tiny island. If we don't turn our attention outwards, we will wither away and die. And not just this family, this whole land will find itself famished and emaciated, defenseless against invasions as we waste away. I won't stand by and watch my homeland crumble. Not really, Em. I was wondering if you could help me. Just maybe smile more often. Em, can you smile? Can you show me how to smile? Sure, our methods may be crude and not always worthy of praise, but they produce undeniable results. The unfortunate thing is, the previous Campo Famiglia was an incredibly reticent man. It took all he had to merely preserve his small chunk of the world.
Sorry to do it again. Aye!
But I'm not like that, and neither are you. The most I can do is lay the foundation to make it easier for you to work. It means everything rests on your shoulders. Both the future of the Berzati family and the future of this country. It all falls on you. Well, thank you. The marriage is happening too quickly. It would be madness not to hurry given the circumstances. You should be well aware of that. We need the Berzati name climbing the social ladder in short order, or we're going to have everything ripped out from under us. If the woman isn't to your liking, you can find another one that is. She's only got to be your wife in name. But listen to me, son. You must not allow her to fool around. What are the most vital things to have in our society? Money, power, yes, those are important. What matters most is respect. No one's going to follow Campo Familia they can't respect. They'll try to undermine your authority. My grandmother is already, I can read, she's going to call me for mispronouncing every Italian word. Once someone deems you weaker than them, courtesy goes out the window, and that's a judgment that's near impossible to overturn. Trail spreads like a fire through a forest, and once the flame's lit, the both of us come crashing down. You must not let anyone look down on you. You must not let anyone think you're the kind of man a woman can walk all over. If by any chance your fiancé is ever unfaithful to you, this seems oddly kill her before anyone finds out. Your place is above others. Climb to the top. Never be content with someone above you. And never forget the weight you carry on your shoulders. This is your responsibility. Fate of the Berazades is in your hand. Fate, rest on your shoulders, kill anyone who stands in your way. Yeah, and I'm trying to think of the ages roughly, because they were 14 and 12, and then she said this is a little more than a decade. So, I mean, he might still be under 20 years old, right? Oh, no, when they were going back, and then they were adding a decade. Wait, how old were they? Or was it they were 14 and 12, and then they said it was a decade? Was it less than a decade or more than a decade? Fuck, I don't remember. It was either less or more, because at one point I'm like, they might be teenagers, but if it was more, they would be obviously more than 20. I must keep intercepting her letters. It was more than a decade? Okay. I must keep her locked up. I still have to work to do. I cannot allow anyone to learn about how she's disgraced me, plus another year on top of that, so... Kill her. How a man says to handle it. Okay, so maybe he's 24 or 25. That's the last resort. It's not... not yet. God damn it. It's downright wrong. For me to even be having these feelings for someone. Fuck. Master, your carriage is waiting outside. Where are you coming along? Oh, that's right. I had an inspection scheduled today. I'll be right out. Have him wait. Is something the matter, Master? You look a little hazy. I'm fine. If you're not feeling well, you should stay. I said I'm fine. It's not your job to try and infer my condition. Yes, sir. Damn it, keep it under wraps. Act like normal. You at least do that much, damn you. Take care of your trip, Master. Yeah. It's not the usual coachman. I also feel like I've seen him somewhere. Your fault. What? That we... Hey, speak up. Die, Jack Berazati. Master? There's a knife in your stomach. Oh God, someone, anyone. Silence, don't make a scene. Call a doctor. Yes, sir. Oh, I remember where I've seen him before. That's right, I put his factory out of business. I needed it out of the picture to expand my own business. Guess he held a grudge about that. I should have been more careful. Blood flows with surprising abundance from a stab wound. Not stopping either. Bitch. The world is going white. Come on now. You have to be kidding. I'm not going to say I feel bad for him. I know very well what kind of man you are. You wouldn't hesitate to lead a blind man off a cliff if it furthered your own goals. Make money off of others' lives. Stand upon a mountain of corpses, cackling at everyone below you. For a man like you, love comes as naturally as flying. Guess what? You don't have any emotions, and you never have. You've always been this way. My childhood was day after day of mockery. A bunch of no-ways trying to pretend your name means anything, they would say, sneering and glaring. Mary treated me as an equal. She was the only one. To show them up. Do that. I had to rise to the top, or at least high enough that I could laugh at them. My old man wasn't the only one who wanted that. I did too. I had to make them acknowledge that I had value as a man. Who actually wants to go through life being laughed at? I had to make them recognize that what I did had value, and I needed neither love nor compassion to do it. Or that's what I thought. In the beginning, I only ever intended to use that one. I simply needed her to build a name for myself. When she served her purpose, I could simply cast her aside. I had thought, or rather, it's what I endeavored to make myself think. Deep down, I felt bad for her. I pitied this woman, who was being made to marry a man she'd never even met before. I'm sure what she really wanted was to have a regular marriage with someone she loved. Because her family wanted to cling to their name, I wasn't afforded that opportunity. I wanted to do something for her. It didn't have to be anything grand. I genuinely wanted that. The day of our wedding was when I first saw her. Her face, partially obscured behind the veil, was gorgeous. And crucially, she was smiling at me. I expected to find only gloom and despondency in her eyes. Instead, she smiled. You hear that, Em? The moment I saw that smile, I wanted it to be a permanent part of my life. I truly did want to ensure she always had a smile on her face. What? I'm sorry. I'm gonna stop. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Is this my room? I'm alive? I feel nauseous. What time is it? The world's a blur. So hot. You mustn't get up. The doctor said bacteria entered your body through the wound. Because that you have a very high fever. What are you doing here? I was told you had been badly wounded, but thankfully it was not fatal. How did you make it out? Pardon? Oh, I see. Maria opened it. Would you like some medicine to reduce the fever? It should help you feel better. Yes. No. Stay by my side for a little longer. Is there anything I can do for you? You can ask me anything. My hand. Your hand? Did you hold my hand? If you don't want to, that's fine. Like this? Your hand is quite cold. It's probably because of the... It probably feels that way because of your fever. So, yes? I've done some regrettable things to you. Please forgive me. To tell you the truth, from the moment I first saw you, I felt like you were what I had been searching for my whole life. Laugh if you'd like. Felt like I had finally found you. I couldn't act around you the way I honestly felt. You should get some sleep. You keep holding my hand until I fall asleep? If you want to, that's fine. My hand is in yours. Sinning. I mean, they are married, though. You appear to be quite delirious, Master. Things you should be telling your wife, not me. Well, way to go, Ghost. You're not helping their marriage out at all. All a dream. Of course it was. It wouldn't be that easy. She would never come to my room. She's involved with other men. Jack, may I come in? I have another letter. The dude just got stabbed. Maria. Calm the fuck down. She's gonna show up with a kaleidoscope wheelie thing next of the white-haired girl banging something else. Alrighty, before we find out what this is going to be, we're going to be ending it. But it was pretty fun. Kind of. I'm really not a huge fan of reading about any kind of domestic abuse, quite honestly. Which, I mean, I'd assume most people aren't really that cool with, but I don't know, it kind of bugs me.